Here's the thing. Test. Audio check.
Test.
Check. Audio check.
1 2. Check 1 2. Check. Karoo. Check it. Check it out now. Go function rubber.
Check. Let me see. Here's the thing.
The Czech Republic. Check
Yeah, we're good.
pockets.
Check your pockets. Right now.
Check them.
All right. Why that ginger beer might fuck me up. Might not drink the rest of that. Jesus. Okay. Let me turn the lights on. Let's see. Let me double check. Let's get there. Check this command list. See if this works. Why is this not working? That's weird. Might mess the lights in a little bit. Let me get the Twitch chat up. Or Twitch chat, YouTube chat. Maybe an update? I'm just gonna close this out and try again actually. Quit. That might be it actually. Let's see. Mod. Ugh.
So excited in the next couple weeks. Fidium fiber is opening up in my area. So I'll be able to get 2 gigabit symmetrical fiber soon.
Time to go zooming across the internet.
Hell yeah.
Alright, let's try this now. What's up, Zarlos? I'm trying to get the lights to work so that way I don't have to think about this anymore. We're not on Twitch, so why was it asking me for Twitch? Hmm. You all right?
Yeah. This beer's got a bit of a kick to it. It's Imperial Russian Stout, 9% by volume.
Hell yeah.
It's actually relatively cheap. Not bad.
Peach with the moment.
Hell yeah. But yes, it is called Old Rasputin. Do actually recommend.
Old Rasputin. I went to this local like market that has like a lot of the foreign foods here. Specifically to look for your potato soda because that was here last time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it threw me off.
Good old Moxie.
Alright, this didn't change now. I think I might just move on. Yeah, I don't know why the chat's not working with the game with the lights. That's so weird. All right, yeah, lights aren't gonna go. We just gotta go. And I'll fuck around with this weekend. All right, you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. My
All
body is in fact Reggie.
Let's do this. Oop. The fuck? Try closing recording software, which might be using NVIDIA Shadow Play, or what the fuck? I don't have any of that on, do I? I don't see what that would be. What the fuck is Shadow Play?
That's a very good question.
I think I vaguely remember this happening last time. Whatever. We're already doing that. We can just cut it down. Welcome to Blue Reese Podcast, episode number 205. I'm Adrian.
Yeah.
David's here. Peach in the chat with Mario Voice. Here we go. Here we go.
Let's go.
Did you watch Mario movie yet?
No.
Jesus. You watched John Wick 4?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Good movie.
Fantastic movie.
You watch anything else since then?
In theaters, no.
I'll watch Fast X.
I have zero interest in that.
Yeah,
you want to see Renfield at some point, though.
Renfield, huh?
Yeah, that Nicolas Cage as Dracula movie.
Okay.
Then, of course, new Spoderman is in a couple weeks.
Yeah, so I was confident, and then when I talked to people while I was out in LA, they said that that movie was kind of like coming in just on like duct tape, like it's coming in hot, like it's not even ready. So I got a little worried for it, but it's apparently first impressions are out saying it's good, so all right, so I guess we're good. To be fair, I think No Way Home was complete the night before. That's saying something. But yeah, Cross the Spider-Verse should be pretty cool. Yeah, I was in LA. Got to watch the Fast X with the family, and that was fun. What's up, Bad Backy? Literally, that's just something I'm gonna do from now on. It's the most wild ride of all time. It's just being. Kyle obviously couldn't rent out a actual theater this time, so instead he just booked out like 2 rows worth of like seats, and just invite whoever they want to come along, and great time, fantastic time. Yeah, that That movie is trash, but I loved it. Peach is delayed for me by a month. It's Fast X delayed. Okay, so I won't talk about it. But yeah, it was a fun time. I love doing that, and for whether or not they have one more movie or two more movies, I'm there. I'm doing that from now on. Worth it.
Also, real quick breaking news. Apparently, Alone in the Dark remake, reboot, whatever you want to call it, will be out this October, and a prequel demo is playable right now.
Oh, neat.
Go check that out.
Hell yeah. That's from the what the fuck's happening right now? What is there something going on?
No, not that
They
I
just
know of.
they just announced it.
I think so.
What's the event?
I don't think there was an event. I think they just dropped the information.
Huh. Good for you guys. Hey, I'm sorry for your Alan Wake 2 news, by the way.
Yeah, fuck off with the no fucking physical copy. Eat my dick. Yeah, we didn't want it to be $70. Just had the physical be $70. And second of all, are you saying that the only cost difference between releasing it digital only and physical is $10 fucking dollars? Fuck off with that bullshit.
They said they didn't want the disc to be a download disc anyway.
Fucking release the game when it's done then. Problem solved.
And well, yeah, and it wasn't never mind. I was gonna say something, but I don't know if it's true or not. Anyway, it'll be a limited run probably.
Maybe. I mean, I would definitely get it if it was a limited run, but as it stands now, like that killed a lot of my excitement because now I don't know, I'm far more inclined to just wait for it to be on a fucking Steam sale or something now.
Yeah, anyone that's not gonna buy it at all, I'm like, I don't know if that's true. I mean, just you can wait for a sale; it'll be cheap anyway. Whatever, Steam sale, fuck it.
Yeah.
Weird news, but I feel like I just it's unfortunate. Alan Wake 2 has to be the test dummy for that.
Yeah.
Because they're testing it out, right? Everyone's like, all right, let's send one game out to see how it does, so we can get away with it. And to their credit, no one talks about it, but digital versus physical, digital sales are like much more skewed in that favor.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would actually argue that.
I just think it's people don't realize it. People don't talk about it, but it's definitely a lot more people download games and buy games. We will never be at a point where everyone can just be fully digital for the rest forever because we have rural America. But interesting. I can see this happening for a lot of indie games, obviously, but like for a full ass retail game.
For indie games, that's the expected behavior, honestly.
But for a full ass retail game, I'm like Psychonauts 2 was kind of like this though as well, which is interesting.
From the publisher that has brought us Fortnite, I think it's unacceptable.
Sure.
You literally have no excuse other than just, I don't know, you hate the idea of having a physical store presence.
Fortnite is physical on some in some stores.
Exactly. Fortnite still has tons of fucking cards and discs and other bullshit. Like,
Yep.
we got all these companies that have no problem going ahead and selling a physical download code. Like, as insulted as I would be about that, at least have the decency to go ahead and fucking put that out there for the weirdos that want a box for a download code.
To be fair, if it was box download code, you guys would be pissed.
I would be pissed, but I mean, not releasing it either way physically in some shape or form has me pissed off.
What up, Kells with the yo-yo? That's fair.
Oh yeah.
That's understandable. David, it's been 2 weeks. How you been?
Been all right. Just working.
Hell yeah.
Working and working on home server stuff and about it.
Nothing too crazy going on there?
No.
Nice. I'm graduated now. It feels fucking good. I'm done. That shit's fucking done. I am so fucking done. I had a coworker that kind of comes to me and always asks me are you gonna do summer school? Are you gonna do this? Are you gonna do that? I'm like, no, I'm gonna fucking not do shit. Maggie says, David, your arcade's off.
Yeah, I forgot to turn that on. One second.
um, yeah, like I'm absolutely refuse to do anything of contractual or educational benefit this summer. I am not. God of War Ragnarok Collector's Edition 2 I had everything except yeah. At that point, if you're paying a couple $100, you should throw in the fucking game. That's my point. I think you should 100% have the game at that point. Wild if you don't. But I don't know. Physical, like if you're at this point, I guess, but that's actually ridiculous. Asked Gordon in one of his videos if he could win a match against Big Dave and Sam. He said he'd annihilate both of y'all. I don't know.
Okay.
Samuel is a beast. We saw how that Wings versus Boogie fight went. Fantastic fight, by the way.
Yet.
You haven't watched it yet?
Mm.
Oh, all right, we're watching at the end of the podcast. It's really good, dude. It's really good. I literally graduated the day that fight happened, so I was like trying to avoid because my Twitter would spoil that shit. And my best friend flew out here, so we were waiting in, and we straight up like stayed off the internet and invited a friend over. We got like food out for like it's like obviously not too long of a fight, but it was fucking incredible. Kels, I feel like graduating knowing you're done is the best. It hasn't dawned on me yet. It's like it's still like a foreign feeling, especially now that work's done because I'm on summer vacation starting today. School wrapped up. It's nice. I'm just like wondering what to do first. Feels good. At back, I want to see Dave versus Score, the fight. How tall are you again, David?
6'4".
6'4". I think that is a Wings versus Boogie fight. I think David, I think you're literally built like Wings. How much you weigh?
330 right now.
Oh, never mind. No, Wings is 400. He big. But yeah, so because of that, I graduated. That was what I was doing this last week, and then I went to LA to go see Fast X with the Fast family, and
Family.
yeah, I did all that. That was great. I got something to show off from there too. So let's jump into that. And David, what'd you get the last 2 weeks?
Hell yeah. So I got a lot of shit. I sold all my D&D 5th edition stuff. So I got a fuck ton of money to play around with. So I did go ahead and work on getting a lot of my stuff complete in box again. I'm not going to show all that off. I just decided to just put it all away. But as you can see, I'm basically almost full on that shelf now as well for having things complete in box.
What's next?
Well, I have one more shelf over there that's almost full as well. And then I think, honestly, if I hit the point that all 4 of these shelves are filled, I'm going to have to start just retiring some of the less interesting things to display.
Will you sell them?
No. I'm just going to start shoving them in weatherproof bins and throw them in the sunroom.
See that when it gets to that point, I'm like wondering, do I even want this thing in my house?
Well, this is not my forever house. That'll come later.
That's fair. That's fair.
So this is basically, my first home. Good enough to get me by in life. Can't complain with it. I mean, I can't complain. There's a lot of things going on that front, but all in all, it's fine. It's serviceable, but definitely not where I want to be my whole fucking life.
Sure.
It would be nice to actually own land of some kind, or at least have somewhere I can park my vehicle off street.
Yeah, I'm sure that'd be nice.
But yeah, so that's why I'm not worried about that now. As for the other things I got here, so this was a fun little $1 got. If I had ever discovered this when I was a kid, this probably would have been my favorite games that no one talks about, because it basically is a fun little Diablo-like style game, and that's Gorasol.
Gordon,
Never
what?
heard of it before. It's called Gorasol. It's like a Diablo style RPG. Got it for $1. Can't complain, but just based on everything I can tell about it, this looks like the kind of game that I would have just absolutely adored when I was younger. So I got that. Let's see what else here. Got this so I could have it complete in box instead of just digital. But Lego Star Wars 3
Hell yeah.
on the good old Xbox. I got this for a couple bucks. Was kind of surprised that I was able to find it for so cheap. And that is the limited edition Dead Space 2 on PS3.
Okay.
I got these for a few bucks each. One of the game libraries that I'm trying to get that actually I want to have fully complete in box is the Master System. So far, all but one of my games is fully complete in box, and I have most of the heavy hitters. Really, the only like super expensive game on the platform I'm missing is like the Brazilian Mortal Kombat 2. But aside from that, I have all the heavy hitters already complete in box. And so I got Shopper Lifter and I got Shooting Gallery.
Let's go.
A little bit closer to having a full complete unboxed library for the platform. Got this for a couple bucks. Again, even on my PC library, I'm starting to just try and get stuff physical, just so that way I have other means to play things. And I still need to finish this game. I started it up during a fucking Extra Life event, but I never finished it. And that's Thomas is Alone. Got the collector's edition for PC.
Thomas was alone.
Thomas was alone. That's true. Who knows if he still is now or not?
Spoilers.
This was a pre-order that I was really excited when they first announced it, and I can't wait to potentially not play this with anyone because it's really not the kind of game anyone but me would really care that much about. That's Dokapon Kingdom Connect.
Yeah, I have Dokapon Kingdom on Wii.
Basically the same concept. I think the Wii one is a port of the PS2 version, and this is like a remaster of the PS2 version. Speaking of things that I got just dirt cheap to have, physical on PC, Dead Space. Got that for like a buckaroonie. Got these for a few bucks. I love this series. And that is Dead or Alive 1 and 2 for Xbox.
Nice.
The Ultra Mixes. I need to get the other two at some points. This I managed to snag for dirt cheap. Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz.
Yeah, I think that one was all right.
It's fine. For $3, I'm not complaining. Speaking of which, Sins of a Solar Empire Trinity. So it's Sins of the Solar Empire and a couple of the expansions. Got that for a couple bucks. Got the Supreme Commander 1 Gold Edition bundle. Got that for $1. This was a pleasant surprise. This normally goes for $50, but I won an auction for it for $4, and the guy sent me an extra game for free just to clear out inventory. So I wasn't complaining. So the free game that I got was a Japanese copy of Monster Hunter 3 on the PSP.
I feel like you would appreciate that too.
I do appreciate that, actually. And then the game that I actually won, that normally in this condition, because I have it sealed, is like $50, but I got it for 4 or 5. I think it was like 5 after shipping and all that. But it is the Sailor Moon collection for the TurboGrafx CD.
Hell
Actually,
yeah.
well, PC Engine because of that. And then speaking of sealed stuff, I have 2 new releases on old platforms. One is technically a re-release, and one is a brand new game. So I have the limited run Dragon View for Super Nintendo, keeping that sealed. And then this, I alerted you about this game, because I know you're trying to get that GameCube collection going.
Yeah.
So figured you want the GameCube version of it. But I am keeping this nice and minty sealed because they do offer a digital download when you purchase it. And that is Xeno Crisis, a brand new game for the N64.
Yeah, I got that. It confused me because I forgot I bought that. Yeah, it's so weird.
And then last but not least, I saved this from the abyss at work, and it is a beautiful Dell Latitude XP machine that is going to be used for beautiful XP gaming.
Hell yeah. So on GameCube, I got a there's a bump in the hill of my GameCube collecting. Disney Sports Basketball. I don't know who the fuck blew this shit up, but this game is now one of the most rare GameCube games.
Fuck?
Yeah, this thing. It was already it was already pretty pricey, but for
right now, some YouTuber called it a fucking hidden gem that everyone should have in their collection.
I want to track it down because literally as of 3 months ago, complete in box was $702. Today it's $975.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so fuck you, whoever fucking YouTube. Oh, do that because that's fucked. So I'm gonna have to bite the bullet on that thing. Or I gotta like hunt whenever I see a decent copy for like a couple $100 now. So
yeah, I have to keep pestering my boss because he still hasn't gone to check the stash that he has with his parents. And I swear, if he has Cubivore and it's just sitting there this whole time,
that's a lot of this fucking GameCube game. So yeah, that game is gonna have to be one I'm gonna snipe now, which is unfortunate. Let's see. I got one thing. We're at the AMC. All right, we're all there getting ready to get some snacks, get some fast family action going, and they have a popcorn bucket. A certain kind of popcorn bucket, $50.
One with a hole cut into it so you can get it handy while you're there.
I mean, might as well. It was $50, dude. And I was like, holy shit, look at that one. And I was like, oh, that looks cool. I was like, I want it. $50 is absolutely not. And Kyle, the fucking G that he is, walks up and he's like, what's up? I'm like, look at that fucking popcorn bucket. He goes, oh, you want it? I was like, yeah, but I'm not paying $50 for that shit. He goes, would you buy it for 30? I'm like, I'm like 20. 25. I'm like 20. I'm a teacher. I fucking had to pay for money to get gas here. I'm hurting a little bit, so 20. He pulls his wallet. He gives me $30. He's like, all right, you can't sell it. I'm like, that's fair. I'm not. How the fuck would I sell this? So I now got the Dominic Toretto Charger popcorn bucket. Lift that thing up and it's popcorn. I don't want it removed from the case though. This is exactly the way I want it. So that's gonna go. I am trying to figure out a spot for this, but that's gonna go somewhere nicely in this background. I'm fucking excited for this thing.
Interesting.
Family. You would have fucking loved this. I was at my buddy's place crashing for a couple days, and his library was having the big sale, trying to get rid of some of the access books. Hardcover books for $2. Like nothing there was priced more like $3.
Oh man.
So I walked out with like bags of like just hardcover books for just everyone. So I spent like $40 and probably got about, I'd wager about 20 hardcover books and 2 vinyl, 3 vinyl, and then one of the vinyl is like this really nice Shakespeare set. It's got like a full like cover box on it. It has some Shakespeare like the plays, and it has the vinyl recordings of them for like $3.
That's pretty fucking wild.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit. So like I drove there, so I'm like, cool, stack that shit up and just took my trunk. But yeah, $40 for all that shit? Hell yeah, dude. So I just texted a few friends. I'm like, what kind of books you like? Boom, just swiped a bunch of them. So that was fun. Speaking of, I want to say this because I thought of it for a second. So I'm teaching film next year. It's confirmed. It's gonna be super cool. I'm teaching film production, I should say. And I'm getting excited for it because I'm getting split off kind of. So I've been doing the special ed English for a bit. Now I'm kind of tapering off and doing this thing now. But they kind of got me doing like a half and half thing, which is cool. But they are sorry. I have, and you'll see it in a couple weeks. I ordered more, spoiler, but whatever. Who cares? I have these A24 screenplay books, right?
Yep.
Really nice books. I've only ever opened one, and I should say actually I've never opened any single one. Last year I let friend of one of my students opened the Ladybird one because that student liked Ladybird the movie, and I've not opened it. I'm like, yeah, go ahead, open it. And she borrowed it for a few weeks, and sticky notes are all over the place. Or trying to take notes about it. I'm like, cool, like love that that's getting used. Now they're like fucking really nice books. So I'm like, just be fucking careful with this book. Don't treat it like a goddamn textbook. And so I've been dipping into the film class a bit more during my off periods, just to get acquainted with it, get the vibe, and the drama teachers run it. Her and I are like really, really, really good friends, and I've been kind of. She's like, all right, well, I was like, who are mine like next year? Who are the ones continuing? And she's like, a few of these, but she's like, those two over there, you're gonna love them. They're gonna be your favorites. I'm like, okay, let's talk to them. And dude, there's like really cool like director duo. One the guy is a lot like me in the so many ideas and everything like this. Boom, 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 and gets excited about that. The girl also very creative, but she's the one that makes it happen. And I love that. I love that duo. I'm like, all right, that's I love it. I love it. And we're talking and like getting a little bit of film stuff, and the reason why I'm getting passed off it is because drama teacher, I probably talked about this. She likes it, but it's not hers. It's like she's like, yeah, they gave it to me. I'm not sold on it. So I'm like, yeah, I'll fucking take it for sure. So we're talking about and geeking out about some stuff like that. You're gonna think this is cool. Actually, no, I don't know if you don't follow all the analog horror, huh?
I'd fall.
You would love that too.
It's one of those frustrating things that, like, after Petscop, I kind of took a break from a lot of web fiction stuff, and then I just never fully got back into it.
So, they get excited when they hear me talking about like, oh, I know what you're talking about, like Mandela Catalog. I know that. Yeah, like we'll talk about that, and they get super excited, like, what the fuck? And they were talking about Wendigoon, but I'm like, have you ever heard of Nexpo? They're like, no. I'm like, how the fuck did you heard of Wendigoon and not Nexpo? And
that's a very good question.
Yeah, and they're like, no, who's that? And they already trust me with everything, so I give them a recommendation. They're like, okay, they literally take notes on this, which is fucking cool. Actually, and that reminded me, that's how my old screenwriting teacher, he would always say, write this down, and you always write down his suggestions. But I was like, yeah, Nexpo and Wendigoon are two of the same. They'll both give you a story and lay it out. Wendigoon will tell you the story, which is cool. Sometimes you want to hear the story in detail like that. Nexpo makes it like a movie though, where you're like, it's like a Friday night and you want to get like a little creeped out. Nexpo is the one where you get some popcorn and you just like, you're vibing that night because it's editing and it adds into its story on its own. I showed some examples of it and they're like super pumped up. So hopefully I got some Nexpo fans on there. I was telling them, I'm like, what are some of your favorite movies? And then the guy tells me a couple of them, and the girl tells me Moonlight. I'm like, oh, Moonlight, yeah. I was like, I have the screenplay book for that. She's like, what? I was like, yeah, I have the A24 one. I was like, if you remind me, I'll put a reminder. I was like, if you come down on the makeup day, I'll bring it. She's like, all right, I'll try. I'm like, cool. And then I came by yesterday, and I ran into them, and they were just kind of wandering around because we're done, and no one's like too strict on where they got to be as long as they're accounted for. So I'm like, where y'all head? They're like, we're gonna go to the drama class. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna head over there too. Cool. It's like, you guys come in makeup day tomorrow? They're like, no. And she's like, I'm trying, but I don't know. I was like, all right, that's fine. So I'm gonna run home and grab the books. And she's like, okay. And I come back, I show them all the books, and she just fucking like her eyes just, and she sees the Moonlight book and it's still sealed, and she's like holding on to it. I'm like, open it. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I gave you the fucking book to open it. Like, I could read it. So open the book. So she's freaking out, just opening it. She's just like the new book smell. But like the English, it sedated both of my sides of like the future film teacher, but mostly the English teacher inside of me, where realize this classroom of drama kids, everyone's socializing. Today's technically really the last day, or yesterday was. So everyone's like socializing, doing that. Everyone's like kind of hanging out, talking. This girl gets his book, sits down, and reads it all fucking class. She is just like eyes glued to this book. I've not a fucking phone and like not anything, barely even acknowledging the world around her. She is just like eyes on this book. And I was like, look, and I was like pointing out with my friend, I'm like, she's just fucking reading. Like, she's like, yeah, she's into this. I'm like, okay. And then she was like snail pacing it though. So she was like just flipping and examining every fucking detail of it. And then towards the end of class, she had about an hour. Towards the end of class, she goes, can I borrow this over the summer? And I'm like, that's a very nice book I got. And I looked it over my teacher friend. I'm like, vouch for her? She's like, yeah, she'll take care of it. I'm like, all right, bring it back at this after summer. And I was like, I want a 3-page paper on what you discovered from that. She's like, all right, cool. And she was like, fucking eyes bugging out, like she was so excited for that. So I'm like, all right, we're on a good start right now. I'm digging that. Awesome. If a fucking a student can actually like look at something they're interested in, just like eyes glued and for over an hour, just like not her eyes not leave this book because of how just enamored she is with that movie already, but just seeing how it's dissected behind the scenes in the script, I'm in. So I'm like I know a few of these students are gonna do it next year, and I've been talking to them. I'm like, all right, guys, listen up. Next year we're going. Like, I know I'm new and I'm gonna get used to it, but we're going. We ain't slacking. We ain't doing this. I'm gonna try my best to scare off anyone that does not want to fucking do this class, because slackers be damned. We're going. We are gonna have a film festival by this time, like April next year. We're gonna have our own film festival. You guys are gonna make your own film, present it in front of an audience, and everyone's gonna watch it. So we're going. Everyone's like, oh shit, okay, all right. They never seems excited for it, but I'm like, just be ready. Like, we're going. We're not stopping this shit. We're going, dude. Between that and then esports has a class. I'm not doing that. I'm not teaching that class formally, but I have an off period during that, so I'll be dipping in it pretty often. But I guess their final, the school curriculum asked that they put on an event.
And so real quick, congrats to your students on that.
Dude, yeah, I forgot that happened. Holy shit. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. But they had to put on an event, so we're talking about that too. And then my friends like look at me, she's like, you know, like, it's good you're done with grad school because you're like trying, which is, and not saying that like you're trying as if like, you're not gonna do it, but like trying, like you're on the way to like put on 2 of the biggest events of all of the year for next year for school. I'm like, I am, but let's fucking do it. Let's go. Like, I don't have school hanging over me, which is fucking nice. But yeah, dude, esports was fucking wild that weekend, bro. I had to be there at 7 a.m. Didn't get out till about 2:30, 2:45 a.m. It was like Mario Kart took 9 hours in between the 2 events that we played, which is like, Jesus Christ.
Holy hell.
It was funny, but I was like doing my best. I was hustling around as a coach. I saw my star player just like, I look at him, he's just looking like droopy, and I'm like, all right, fucking. So I'm like running around the facility trying to find an open room. I'm like, all right, I'm still in this room. I throw my boys in. I'm like, all right, everyone, funnel in, take a nap. Let's go. Let's get everyone get some sleep. I dim the lights down, let them crash for about like half an hour. Got a really quick power nap. I opened it back up. They got some food in there. They're practicing each other. I'm like, all right, we're gearing up. We're mentally preparing for this, because it was go time. And damn, dude, that this whole, and I'm knocking on wood for this because it's still not done. But I was like, this whole month might have been like probably like the greatest month for me. And yeah, so the esports thing, dude, we won for Splatoon. It was literally in overtime that we won. I don't really know too much about Splatoon, so I don't imagine you would.
No.
But one of the modes, like, you have to like capture these things and throw them into like this. It's almost like you have to funnel these things in. It's like a Mario Party game almost. Like, you pick up clams, you got to throw them into the other person's thing. We were up the whole game. The other team catches up by. They beat us and they're ahead by 2 and 16 seconds left, and they started cheering. And for our boys, the thing that we really push is mental coaching. We really want to push, like, well, obviously we're in for the like skill wise as well, but like, hey, I was prepped for that. I'm like, hey, you guys are gonna be on stage. That's gonna be big. Also, you're gonna be on stage and people are gonna be cheering against you. People are gonna be cheering when you mess up. That's the tough part.
They want you to fail.
Not like a vehemently, but like they want you to lose. That way they win. So like people will be cheering against you, and that's a lot. That's a lot, especially if you're like on our nerdy end, which is not used to that. That's a lot. So I was mentally really fucking prepping that, and it was so fucking cool. We were down, and there's videos of it. We're down, and you see everyone freaking out. I'm not freaking out. I'm composed because I'm like, I know how this is. It's not over till it's over. Literally, I will not react until I see the game over screen. So I'm like holding on, but I see everyone else is freaking out, and then they start cheering, and then one of our players is really kind of quiet. He hears that and he goes, "All right, guys, go, 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 go. We got this. We got this." And they fucking hustle it in. They go in overtime and they throw in their win. And dude, that was fucking nuts of a call, dude. I was like, holy shit. He like made one of the other coaches like just cry when he got home because he was like, that's that like from when he started to now, like that kind of like just leadership intuition just to fucking go. And we were talking to them and they're like, dude, we heard them cheering and that fueled us. We were like, all right, let's go time. Let's fucking do this. And I'm like, y'all are wild. And then one of the guys that was on that team was the anchor player for Smash. So here it is. It's 2:15 in the morning. Fucking his Yoshi versus Akazuya. Game 1, that Kazuya just fucking destroys him, like wrecks him, dude. And I sit down with them. I'm talking to him. I'm like giving him a coach. I'm like, all right, we gotta talk this through. We just peeled everything back, and I did the most YOLO Hail Mary coaching call where I'm like, this is Kazuya's best stage, one of them. We're gonna pick it because I just need space. Because Kazuya likes the flat stages in Smash.
Gotcha.
And I picked a
So
stage.
Like the like Final Destination
FD,
and all that.
FD, Town and City, and Kalos. Those are his 3 best because they're very flat. Is there a video of that on YouTube? Finals are. The actual pop-off moments are not, but the finals are. I can link to them in a second. But actually, let me just do that right now because I am the worst at actually.
Yeah, while you're doing that real quick, I don't remember. Did you ever read House of Leaves before? Because I know I recommended it many moons ago.
No,
but
I think this summer I'm there's a lot of stuff I'm trying to.
No, I asked because there was a video I was gonna originally send to you, and I forgot to send it to you, and I'm glad I did because I don't want to send it to you until you've read House of Leaves.
Okay.
But there is a Doom mod going around that you might see because you do follow a lot of the same stuff that I do for like web horror and web fiction and all that shit. There is a Doom mod going around. If you see a lot of like Doom mod videos popping up in your recommended all of a sudden, just ignore them for a while.
Yeah, I'll try my best to do some House Leaves. I was thinking about hopefully doing that with students next year.
Also, I will say that book is probably, especially now that we're older and everything, probably going to hit a lot harder than when we were younger. There's a lot of things in there that just
good.
It's such a fucking ride.
Good. I'm ready to go through some shit this summer. I mean, I have 3, potentially 4 trips planned this summer, by the way. I'm going to Denver in about 2.5 weeks for a work trip. Right. Maybe 3 weeks. I got a Hemis camping trip with some of the coworkers. I have my friends flying me out to Tahoe to hang out with him for a bit for a graduation present. Then I drove home. I went a different way. I drove through a ghost town, which was really fucking pretty. But I was watching videos about how haunted this hotel is apparently here, and I convinced my friend, the drama teacher, was like, "Hey, you get your fiance, and I'll get my chick, and we'll go. Like, let's go. Can we? They call it a suicide room, dude. Room 32 is a suicide room." And I'm like, "Listen, if we all want to go, I will buy an RMF reader. I will buy a Ouija board. I'm not fucking on the Ouija board." I was like, "Right now, text your fucking fiance right now. If he has a Ouija board, will he do it with me?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "We're doing it. I don't give a shit." And she's like, "Listen, I'm very spiritual, so they were like, they're gonna fuck with me and not with you." I'm like, "I'm open-minded, but they want to say something. Tell it to me. Fuck you."
I mean, okay. I just need to say it's fucking wild how much ghosts have fucking come up today, because at work, we were just talking and shooting the shit, and all of a sudden, my boss's boss was like, "Oh yeah, the fucking daycare's haunted." I'm like, "Excuse me?" She's like, "Oh yeah, no, there's fucking ghosts in the daycare because we have an on-premises daycare." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" She's like, "Oh yeah, tomorrow when no, I'm in the office for longer. I'll tell you guys the story." So and it came up because I made the joke because we have a couple access points that are having issues, and
Sure.
we traced it to being brownouts basically that we're having in the building. But I made a joke. I'm like, it's probably fucking ghosts just fucking with everything, and just dead ass. My boss's boss like, no, it's fucking. We do have ghosts in the daycare. I'm like, the fuck is going on in this goddamn place?
Yeah. Jerome,
then the
Arizona.
Oh, good.
Jerome, Arizona is it's a really pretty town, like built on a hillside. It's built over a mining facility. It's really fucking pretty there. I went there for a store. There's a store for a band that I follow there that I wanted to go to, and it's really fucking cool. But apparently their Grand Hotel is like really fucking haunted, and room 32 is dubbed the suicide room. And I'm like, I'm in. Like, say less. I will do that. I'm that kind of person. Yeah, Baggy, will you visit Big Dave and be at his wedding? Of course. I'm there, 100%.
Yeah, whenever that happens. I mean, it's kind of one of those things that it's not in the cards right now because shit's expensive. We were, just for giggles, we were even just trying to look into be like, all right, what if we just wanted like some kind of like notary to come out and just fucking do a little service. Even if you wanted like the elopement package for a lot of these places, it's like fucking $500 for some of them where it's like, oh yeah, we'll come out there for like 10 minutes and do a quick little ceremony. It's like, excuse you want $500 for fucking 10 minutes of my goddamn time?
It's either go big or go home with the wedding. I think I'm just like, if I'm gonna have that, we're and obviously we mentioned it, but it's like that's the favor I'm calling in. Anyone that I visited, your bitch ass is going. If you're not, you're a bitch.
Yeah, no, we have a rough idea of when the day eventually comes, what we're gonna do. We've talked about the idea of going ahead and renting out basically a place in the woods,
Yeah,
for like a week, and then just basically being like, okay, we're gonna go up, a couple days early, and then it'll be a big hangout sesh for all like the
crew,
groomsmen,
the crew,
the bridesmaids. Yeah, exactly. Essentially the crew. All of the really close best friends where it's like, all right, we're getting all of us together and we're just gonna fuck around for a few days and just play games and watch movies and just celebrate, essentially. And then there'll be the actual day of, and then everyone fucks off, and then it just becomes a honeymoon for the last few days of it, and then just whatever. But that's kind of what we've mused on. But even that, we're like estimating is probably going to be like maybe like 10 grand for some of the shit we're thinking of doing.
Yeah.
So it's like fucking A.
Yep. Kel said, my wife and I just went to Cora, spent a ton of money at Disney World. Fair. I respect that. My idea is that this is literally be the only time I'll ever get my weird conglomerate of people together.
Yeah.
So why not? But yeah, no, I'm doing that shit. Anyway, reel it back. So finals. I talked to him. I was giving him some coaching. Like, hey, oh yeah, so Kazuya, right? Like,
yeah.
You usually do not pick those stages. You pick some platform stages to watch us out. But I'm like, we need space. Space him out. Be calm, but we just get him the fuck away from you. And we went for this. And you hear the commentators in the game. And then my players, I had some extra players that were not on varsity, but were like hanging out to help support us and like keep us awake, which God bless them. We all got medals, and I actually didn't get a medal. They ran out of medals because I was like, can we give a medal to this guy? Because there was one more kid that on our team that would have had a medal at that point. I'm like, give it to him because he was here. He was here at 2:30. Like, he fucking helped out. Whatever. Give everyone a medal. I'll get one later. We'll figure it out. But we picked that, and then the commentators and some of our players in the stands were like, what the fuck? No, fuck, no. Like, they were freaking out. They're like, no, why would you do that? And you watch the beginning of the game, and we're getting like destroyed the first stock, and I'm like, oh fuck, I might have miscalled this really badly, but it played out. And earlier in that game, our best player is in the middle. He's really good, and he has a rivalry with the other middle player. Don't taunt is now the rule against us, because if you taunt against us, we just go in. Like, there's like no stopping. Like, you taunt us, that fuels us. So our middle player got taunted against, and our player just destroyed him. Like, said, all right, fuck it, we're done. and just
It's
destroyed
on
him.
at that point.
And just destroyed him, like ridiculously destroyed him. And then he was destroying my guy. He has up a whole stock as Kazuya. He taunts in the middle of one of his combos to kind of mess with him. And since that moment, our player turned the fuck on and came back, turned it around, won that game. And then game 3 starts and we got a really good lead. And you even hear the commentators go, I want to know what that coach told them. And I'm like, we're good right now. We're chilling. I saw that players getting very emotionally and active. Whenever I see a player, this goes for like me in tournament or in general, if I see a player like talking to themselves, getting like very animated, I'm like, cool. They're wearing their heart on their sleeves. That you can read them like a book. Cool. So I saw their player like very emotional, fuck, like playing this. I'm like, all right, let's frustrate him. Just frustrate him. You'll get him. And sure enough, there was a point that hurt me as a teacher, but as a coach, I'm weird on this moment. Maybe you'll see. The last stock, our player takes his last his second to last stock, he's on final stock, kills him, and like their player like hits himself in the head and you can tell he's like frustrated, like just like, and I'm like, as a teacher, I'm like, oh fuck, like I'd hate if one of my students like feeling like that. I'm like, no, like they were beyond the game and competition, like that's some bad like moments you gotta figure out. But as a coach for my team, I'm like, that's a killer moment, dude. Like now you take that and you run with that and we win. So like he wasn't that far behind, like he still evened it up right after that. But the difference between him hitting himself and my player, you see my player on the screen go on the last stock. I'm like, that's the difference right there. It's all mental, like at that point. And it was last game, last hit, and our player won it out, and it's like pop. Like we just, it was 2:30 in the morning. Our players are fucking cheering. I'm like fucking cloud nine. I'm like, motherfuckers, you guys are crazy. You guys are crazy for this one. It was even my crew like at its fullest too, which was even wild. So it was a lot of fun with that. But then at our going away ceremony, we had a good chunk of seniors leave this year. And that's probably the most emotional I've got at school in general, where it was like a goodbye. But it was so sentimental. I felt like, because it was like I completed my degree and I'm done. 2 days later, I see them complete theirs, and they were just as nervous as I wasn't really nervous at the ceremony. I'm more like, I'm ready to be fucking done. But it was really surreal. It was cool, by the way, being in the master program. You kind of like, we sit above the Raptors, so we're kind of like sitting down, watching down on all the undergrads. So we're like, it's like a VIP treatment. But like, we were done. But I remember having that antsy feeling when I was first graduating. And I saw it in them too, and they got it done. And then we got some finals done, we got some championships, and saying goodbye on that, I was like, whew. So I was like definitely a little bit emotional, especially when my co-coach gave me a lot of kudos, and he was getting choked up pretty hard. And he's like, hey, he was giving like shout outs to us. He's like, dude, he meant it. If it wasn't for you, man, like this wouldn't have lasted. Like you were the one that like really held down that fort and like really kept it together. So it was like, I was like getting kind of choked. I'm like, dude, we did it. This is a fucking rough one. And like, even at ourselves, like even the coaches kind of bigger each other, like, because we're just stressed out and tired. And it was a tough year. Every teacher's like wiped out right now. Like it's fucking nuts. But like we pulled it off. We got some gold medals. Our first gold medals as esports. We have a trophy which is bigger and worth more because we beat more opponents. But like state medals are also just like pride and joy for states. So it felt good. But yeah, so like thanks for that, because it was like, yeah, it's really just a lot of managing and figuring things out, and these guys are growing, and I think personal growth is cool. It's like, it's beyond the games. Kid could be good at the games, whatever, but it's like seeing them grow and the mental game of that, because we all know competing, it's not just skill, it's like mental. It's like making sure you're not nervous, making sure you're good to go, making sure you feel confident, supporting each other. And we fucking rocked it, bro. So got a lot of momentum, got a lot of eyes on us too. We're still the best in the state, best in the city, which is nice. We got some selling points there. It's just nice to genuinely, I keep saying it over and again because it's like surreal, but like the fact that we can now talk is not, oh, I have class that night, or it's like I have something to turn in. It's like, no, I can just talk now. It's like, now I can just do stuff. It's weird, dude. But yeah, I put that in the chat. That's the match I'm talking about. But the whole game is there, and then we did Splatoon as well, so that was fun. Yeah, David, what you been playing this last couple weeks?
Been playing these nuts. No, I've almost finished up D-Lit in Wonderland, or in Wonder Labyrinth rather. I fucking adore Metroidvanias, and I keep forgetting how much I adore them until I sit down and like really fucking play one.
Hold on,
And
my friend just sent me this on Twitter. Hold up. Put this in the. Oops, fuck is not gonna. Hopefully it sends. Yeah, if it sends there, it's on the YouTube chat. Let me send it to you in Discord. I need to go buy this right now.
some Mega Man booties.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And sneakers? Oh, I'm in. $30 only? Hell yeah.
That's actually not terrible, honestly.
Nope. August 14th. Set the date. All right. Email me. When these are ready, I would like to be reminded. Okay. Yeah, I'm buying these. What the fuck? All right, sorry, go ahead.
Good. No, I've really enjoyed it. I'm basically at the end of the game. I fucking looked it up because I was kind of curious how much I actually had left to do in the game. And I'm basically at a boss rush mode right now, and then after the boss rush is the final boss. So I just need to basically go through and be. It's fucking wild how they do it because it's basically like a faster paced version of the Mega Man style boss rushes that they throw in. Because instead of like going ahead, picking the boss, fighting it, and then moving on to the next one, it just straight does them in a conga line in the order you originally fought them. And you literally go through every single boss you fought up to that point before you can continue on. So I can get right back to the last boss that I fought, and then it's just at that point I'm so resource exhausted that's like fuck. So I gotta fucking hone down on the goddamn patterns enough for that. But I basically have like 20 minutes left in the game.
Nice.
But no, I really enjoyed it. It definitely is a game that if you haven't watched Record of Lodoss War before, it's very easy to get lost. The game does not do anything to help you get inundated in the world and the characters. It just kind of expects that if you're playing this game, you watch the anime. So it's a hard game to recommend, even if you're just. The only time I'd recommend it is if like you're hungry for a Metroidvania game, and you've already played everything else out there. Then yeah, go ahead and play it. It's good Metroidvania. But otherwise, it's definitely something that it's hard to recommend unless you were a fan of Record of Lodoss War. Other than that, I haven't, because of all the server work I've been doing between home and work, I haven't played too much else. Yeah, that's kind of the big thing, really.
Nice. I've been wanting to play more Nier. I showed more students the Drakengard final boss, and one student walks in and says, wait, so can you explain what's going on? What's the history of here? I'm like, all right,
bro, we don't have time for that.
I was like, if you want to be here for the next 7 hours and let's just get an idea, but let me give you the TLDR. This is a prequel to the first game. The first game then is an homage to the first final boss. That final boss is the bad ending of this. That bad ending leads to this thing that happens. That leads to this fucking franchise. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah. Yeah. Games. I got Tears of the Kingdom. Forgot to mention that too. I was about to put it in there. I'm like, I'm like literally a couple hours. I want to say maybe from finishing Breath of the Wild. I'm like, I should just finish Breath of the Wild because I'm never gonna go back. I'm hearing Tears of the Kingdom is just, which by the way, kudos to fucking Tears of the Kingdom. Delayed a whole year for fucking polish. Good shit.
Yeah.
Thank you. I am flabbergasted that game is not chugging like fucking holy hell, dude. Like, I would have put my goddamn cat's life juice. Put your life on it. That was like, I was like, there's no way the frame rate is fucking good in that game. Like, no way. And they did it. Those fucking mad lads. But I was like, I hear it just overall just better Breath of the Wild. So and you know how I am with that, where I'm like, I'm probably not gonna go back then. So I'm probably gonna just maybe tomorrow start knocking that out a little bit and finishing that up because I'm so close to the ending. So I'll probably start Tears of the Kingdom soon. I'm playing Overwatch now. I know that's a little funny story that we're gonna talk about here in a second. I've messed around with this. Oh shit! I forgot to show you. Hold up. I got something else. Fuck! It's been so long.
It's D's nuts. Hello, chat. It's been a while since we've just been one-on-one. I'd like to tell you a story about how my life got turned upside down. I'd like y'all to take a minute and just sit right there, so I can tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air. There he is.
Yeah. Let's see. Turn this on real quick. Let's see. I got the Miu Mini Plus.
Gross.
What?
Why would you get a trash emulation thing when you have literally dozens of devices you can put emulators on already?
This is not trash though. Like genuinely, like it's actually really good.
Yes, so is installing emulators on your Vita or any other fucking handheld you own.
The size of it is kind of the king of it. There's even smaller version of this, but this is that. It's more portability if anything. Plus, I like the Game Boy factor of it. You good?
It's like screaming outside.
You wanna go check on that?
Yeah, real quick. I have a window like right here.
Death caught on tape.
No, it's about that time of year where we have a lot of drunk neighbors just shouting at each other. There was one year, like 2 years ago, where lesbian couple in the apartment that's next to us had a shouting match out in the street, so that was kind of funny to listen to. But yeah, it's just that
hell
time
yeah.
of year. Although we did have a shooting incident right down the road from me. Dude was shooting out from the apartment at passing vehicles, which was wild.
No, wonderful. Yeah, shooting and Albuquerque kind of coincide. No, it's actually like, and I've done a lot of research. Like even like Wolfden, who like does all this shit. He dives super deep into all the portable stuff. He vouched for it. I went for it, and this is super cool. Does you know what retro achievements are?
No.
So when you put this on there, you add a firmware on there, and it leads to retro achievements. So you can actually put achievements on emulators that are already linked to it. So for example, I can like Pokemon Emerald, for example, or I've been playing Mario Tennis. It's got 80 achievements in Mario Tennis that tell you how to do like, oh, do this, and just like knocking out as if it's a regular game on that too. The OS is really solid. It's got sleep mode, which David, there you go. That's kind of a thing that you don't like, I know, but like, it's got like an active sleep mode, so you can kind of swap between games. So I can hold on to this. I have Tekken 3 playing right now on here. So let's see if it hold on here.
Yeah, I gotta pee real quick.
All right. I got Mario Tennis going on there. And then I got a game switcher. I'll show David that in a second. But hey, shout out to that. If you want something like emulated, get that Miu Mini. It's a little harder to get like at a decent price. Because usually like $60 I want to say, but I think they've been going for like $70 around. But I would say I would say that's a good price for it too, though. It's very well worth. Yeah, now I'm, you know what? Now I'm admittedly on this website looking for dumbass things. I want to buy more dumb things. I don't know where I was going with that, but I guess I went there. Anyway, hope Chad's doing all right. It's Thursday. I'm ready to fucking play games too. I'm excited. It'll be nice finally. Fucking hell. Hope everyone has some good summer plans. Dun, 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 dead air, dead air, dead air. Dead air, dead air, dead air. I do want to stream more too. Now that I kind of put that out there. Boom, 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 boom. What? What are you doing? All right.
I've returned.
Yeah, the game switcher. So like I've been playing. There's Sonic Advance. You can't see because it's bright. There's Mario Tennis. I'm playing that. But like, get back into it. And we're playing Tekken 3, dude. It's like
actually for it to even run Tekken 3, it's actually not bad at all.
It runs everything. It runs PS1 games obviously without the DualShock, but like I'm not lying. This is not like some random cheapo thing. Like it's a genuinely really good emulator. I wouldn't have spent money on it if I didn't think it was gonna be shit. Like I'm well aware I have plenty of devices, but like I'd much rather carry this thing around than my Vita, TBH.
Fair.
Let's see. If I can go home here for a second. But yeah, you can add a bunch of stuff to that, like all the retro cheap and stuff like that, which is super cool. Got favorites. Let's see. You go up to, what do I have on here? I have Sega CD, NES, SNES, Genesis, PlayStation, Neo Geo, Game Gear, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy. There's some arcade games on here, Atari games, and then Commodore games. And I put up a 128 gig SD card, so micro SD card, so everything's good on there. So we're chilling. Really good OS. It's a custom built OS for all this stuff, so it's always kind of adapting. It's got like a play tracker, stuff like it's just interesting little things. I like the little this helps the ADHD. I mean, it's random games, so it'll just boot up a random game for you. Let God take the wheel on this. Form factor is really decent, actually. Like I'm saying, it's like a genuinely decent device. So, the portability is what I like most, though. So, like this thing, put it in a case, I could pack this thing and just like take it so much more places than I could like my DS or my Vita or anything, and just throw it in there. It's good to go.
That's fair.
And like $60, why not?
$60. That's hard to go wrong with, in all honesty. Yeah, it's
an emulation device for $60. Like, fuck it, dude.
Yeah, that's hard to argue with.
Let's see. Anything else on my end? No. David, let's talk some shit. Overwatch.
Always. Hell yeah. So Blizzard continuing to show that they can't be trusted with products and that Overwatch 2 was a scam. So apparently Blizzard has known for quite some time that all the ideas they had for PvE, which was one of the most defining fucking aspects of fucking Overwatch 2, besides reducing multiplayer count numbers.
The reason why it's a sequel.
It's a sequel. The whole reason why they're like, oh, we need to revamp this engine in order to put a 2 in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck off.
Now,
Absolutely fuck off. The
uh,
the only thing that would have actually been interesting, and one of the biggest things that I've kind of been waiting for, the whole PvE concept where you had actual skill trees and like almost like a Diablo style loop to it. That would have been fascinating. That would have been hella interesting. That would have been worthy of it actually being called 2, as opposed to, I don't know, we just reduce the amount of players that are playing in competitive and slot the 2 in front of it. And that's all we're getting, essentially. Fuck off.
so yeah, I'll take a sidestep on here. I don't really care about the skill tree part, which is the huge thing. But I'm not gonna say that that matters. Like a lot of people wanted that skill tree. Um, the way they described it was that making one character with all this skill tree and all that stuff was taking so much energy and resources that it was becoming just unwieldy. Um, with the amount of stuff they had to make them do, it was easier for them to make a whole new character than it was to like build a character still like any pre-existing character with all these different things on there. I it sucks for what it little stuff has been coming out about this. David, did you read the history about what they said that happened with Overwatch and how that Project Titan and what all they did with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna have you say that really quick. I'm gonna get some water.
Okay. All right. So while Adrian is going to get some water, one, where is Femboy Hooters? When are we finally getting that? We keep seeing all this propaganda going on about how terrible regular Hooters is because tits are too much. So you know what? The simple answer: just give us Femboy Hooters, and then we wouldn't have an issue. But beyond that, Project Titan was originally an MMO that was being designed by a whole nother Blizzard team. Along the way, what Project Titan became was Overwatch, and a lot of the team was like, "Hey, we ended up making a team shooter, but really we still kind of want to make an MMO." And we'll get there eventually. They kept swearing to themselves, "Yeah, we'll get back to that original concept eventually, where we'll go ahead and bring in more MMO elements." But really, what we want is Femboy Hooters. When is it happening? Give it to us. Yeah, I that's the whole background. I don't really have much beyond that, other than the fact that Blizzard is horrendously fucking mismanaged, terrible expectations set, terrible communication with the community. I got nothing. This... Chat, can we get some hell yes? Can we get some hell yes for Femboy Hooters? But beyond that, I don't know. What else do we got here? I don't know. I don't really have a whole lot to say. Anyone that has watched this podcast for a long time has heard me berate and rail on Blizzard about a lot of shit, and I mean a lot of shit. It's just all terrible. Like a buddy of mine is super excited for Diablo 4, and I can't get excited because Blizzard is so horribly fucking mismanaged. Welcome
Tell
back.
him, David.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So it's an interesting idea, is that because Overwatch wasn't supposed to be the thing. Overwatch was the random lighting in a bottle. Just they tried something and it worked, but they mentioned it, and I think this is what happened. Is like Overwatch was like, all right, this is like Overwatch is almost a proof of concept, which is interesting, right? Overwatch was the, all right, let's see if this works. Oh, cool, that does. All right, now let's do what we actually wanted to do. And they mentioned in the chat saying we should have just saw what was amazing in front of us and just kept that going. And it's true. But do you get, I kind of understand that, David. It's like It's like if we had Blue Rupees and like Games Gone By was like just a small like a little segment, but we were both inside. We're like, yeah, but that's the thing that we like. That's what we want to do. But Blue Rupees took off, and if we just start focusing on just the Games Gone By segment and make that whole thing.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I explained it, is the fact that really at the end of the day that they were MMO developers, and they ended up shifting kind of focus something else. But it is just one of those things that on one hand, there is a part of me that does actually really feel bad for the developers directly, because it's clear they had a lot of passion and a lot of interest in an idea, and it just. And I'll shout out real quick. Shout out to Kells, because they had a really good point here. I don't understand why they couldn't have done skill trees for a small number of core heroes and make those the playable ones for the story like Borderlands.
Yeah, so that's what people have
100%.
been saying. That's what people have been saying. But I feel like they just got in too deep. And at this point, they made a story, right? The story, I feel like they were like, we have all these amazing characters. Let's make a story, right? Let's make a fucking story. But now they made a story with everyone, and you can't play everyone.
Which is so dumb, because here's the thing, is like, they literally have the easiest cop out in a lot of ways, because so much of Overwatch's lore is built around the side comics. Fucking build all the story missions initially around those side comics. Bam, there you go.
So the reason why Ramatra and Sojourn had a like really kind of weak intro, like they had like weird like kind of like slow like stop motion comic. I don't know if you ever watched it, but they had like kind of weak character introductions. It was because they played a big part in the story. They really wanted to just make this big wild story, and it had everyone in it. But I agree, like I feel like in hindsight it's 2020, right? They could have gone back and been like, all right, we probably should have just made like 15 heroes, 16 heroes.
But that's what I mean, is like they had shitty management, because
Now-
someone that really wanted this vision to kind of go through at the helm would have been
Sure.
like, this is a great idea, but we need to make it like feasible, because
Now-
roadmaps are at this point in gaming are nothing new.
Well, I
Like,
want to give them this.
sorry, go ahead.
I want to give them the credit here. Remember, they came out like a few years ago, was it? Where when Bobby Kotick was getting thrown under the bus, they're like, "Hey, Bobby, now tell everyone how you kept telling Overwatch team to keep incorporating things, and we would do it, and you would just toss it out." I want to say they had a vision. I don't want to say. I do think they overshot 100%. 100% they should overshot. But I want to also say that I can guarantee you that they kept coming in there and putting their own little hands on everything and saying, now do this, now do that. Oh, no, never mind, don't do that. Because Diablo Immortal came in, sold a fuck ton of, or made a fuck ton of money, and said, why is the game that's only mobile that's doing that numbers, but we have a team this big that's doing it's that standard shit that shareholders just don't understand and executives don't understand, when they don't realize the power of your IP coincides alongside it. Your IP is nothing if you're going to constantly shove out that shit. You need to like pamper that shit with some really strong other presence in other games that keep the passion there for other people, that'll keep the IP strong. You're essentially putting insurance on your IP. But they want small number put out, big return, rather than big number put out, big return.
Case in point, like truly, Angry Birds. Look at Angry Birds. One of the most dominating fucking presences of the mobile gaming space. To the point where it got its own fucking movie.
Mm-hmm.
And where the fuck is it now? And it's all because
didn't Sega
it was
just buy it?
constantly...
Like $1 million, didn't they?
Didn't who buy it?
Sega didn't. Hold on. Was that a meme?
I think that was a meme, my guy. And if it only sold for $1 million, that's sad.
No. Sega bought Rovio developers for $625 million like last month.
Oh, no shit. All right. Pepperoni and cheese, I guess. Well,
Sonic and Angry Birds at the Olympic Games coming to you soon.
there
Uh,
you go.
yeah,
fans.
Angry Birds had multiple movies too. But you have to pamper that with other stuff. You can't just do the easy shit forever.
Yeah.
So I feel for them, and I get it, but it's weird because ultimately Overwatch was not built to do this. It's like it's very similar to Smash, right? Where like the creator created this game not knowing what they're gonna unleash to the world, and the community just took it and ran with it, and all of a sudden it's this massively competitive game that you were like, ooh,
Well, even beyond the competitive aspect, it's one of those games that took off to the point where
it
so
was
many
pop
people just
culture,
love the world and the characters.
and now that's true. But like then as time went on, like the game just didn't keep the balance because they just weren't built to balance that kind of unwieldy stuff. So it's rough. Because supposedly they knew since before launch of Overwatch 2. I can imagine that was the killer point, right? When they launched the PvP side, and they're just like holding on for dear life, just hoping they finish it in time, and just time just came by and they just couldn't. Now what I'll say personally, I'm not one for the skill tree stuff, but I am for the story missions. I don't know how I feel about what they're gonna do with the story missions. I don't know if you've heard. They're gonna piecemeal out the story missions alongside some battle passes. So if you buy a battle pass, it'll also come with the story
Fuck
missions
off.
on it.
Fuck
Well,
off.
I mean, the story game was gonna be like $60 anyway, $70 anyway. So it's like, I guess I don't know.
No, fuck off.
So
The whole point of you going ahead and bothering to remaster the engine and update it and create a sequel, okay, kudos. You made it free to play. But you also erased the history of an entire original game. So you didn't make a fucking sequel. You erased the legacy of what you originally created in fears of splitting the player base in order to create this whole new experience that could only exist if you did this.
sure.
So you made 5v5 and you promised that, oh yeah, we're going to have all this super enhanced PvE content. And don't deliver any of that. Except for, well, we gave you 5v5.
Right.
Fuck off with that. Absolutely fuck off with that. You congratulations. You are not charging for a game you have been selling for years on end and effectively have already hit the cap of people that are going to buy it anyway.
Sure.
Fuck off. I have no sympathy on that aspect. I have no respect for any of that aspect. Especially considering they've known for months that this wasn't going to be feasible, and they try to worm it in mid a fucking conference. Be like, oh, and by the way, fuck off with that.
Well, hold on. I don't want to fucking hinder the developers that much because you're under fucking Bobby Kotick, dude.
Here's the thing. It's not directly the developers I'm saying this to.
Yeah,
Because I know the developers
Sure.
have no control over it.
Sure. It sucks that people like Aaron Keller, I think his name is, the guy that's the face of it. It sucks like he's gonna get the brunt of it because he's the face of it, and I'm sure the executives there love that there's a fucking face. They're like so fucking happy. They're like, all right, cool. This developer can take the hit of it. Cool. Let's throw him under there.
Yeah, he's the new Jeff Keighley of the Overwatch team.
Yeah, Jeff Kaplan.
Yeah, Jeff Keighley of the Overwatch team. As opposed to Jeff Kaplan, who hosts the Summer Games Fest.
As opposed to Jeff Mendocino.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Overwatch is such a special. It still is. I still like Overwatch. I'm not gonna fucking like lie about that. I still play it a lot.
I
But,
had zero interest as soon as they announced it was 5v5. The only thing that would have kept me interested vaguely is the PvE, and hearing the direction it's in, I don't give a fuck 100%. I would have been like half tempted when the PvE came out, because that to me is Overwatch, is playing with my friends. And Overwatch was one of the few games where, because it was 6 people on a team, where it's like, oh, this can accommodate like effectively the wide range of the amount of people I'm going to play with. And 5v5 killed a lot of that. Also, Blizzard is just a shit organization right now. And on top of that, like, here's the thing. Overwatch needs a PvE content to do something in order to stay relevant. Even League of Legends, one of the longest running PvP games in existence, eventually did something to branch out far beyond its own concept. And it made a bunch of story-based games, made a fucking anime, and so much other shit. What is what the fuck is
that's
Blizzard
what
doing?
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Like,
Is it's not and not just PvE. What some suits in Cal says, in my opinion, is so dirty how the suits are making developers be the fall man and front facing. Yeah, I agree. That's where I'm at. I don't understand how suits are so stupid where they don't get. Not everything needs to be a massive investment on return, because it doesn't necessarily need to be a monetary return. Your relevance, the relevance and the popularity is an investment in and of itself. So the fact that we're spending money to create, do you think Riot made as much money on the anime than they fucking did actual, just if they could, like, obviously I hate this argument, but like for this purpose I'm going to use it. Right, the people that are making the anime have nothing to do with at all whatsoever with the game. But like, you know, people are like, oh, okay, we just put the people on the. But like, do you think if they just put that money towards the game, they could have made more money? Sure. The fact that they put anime out there, that they were like spreading the IP everywhere, doing music videos, doing all this stuff that's not making the money that they could have done if they had just like funneled it back into the game. But it's keeping relevance. It's making your IP that much stronger. Overwatch had the biggest like burst of an IP. It was like so fucking popular. It was fucking everywhere, dude. Everyone knew Overwatch, like wild. And because the suits were so fucking hyper focused on money, they just blew their IP.
Yeah.
They blew their IP. Everyone was always excited for every fucking cinematic. Every cinematic of characters we already knew. Like, this is the shit like Smash, right? Smash, we're like excited for new characters trailer. Overwatch, we're excited to see a character trailer.
Yeah.
They could have done any character trailer. They could have done that. They could have fucking made a movie. If they had kept everything, if they had kept everything going the way it was, and even developers, and again, they do deserve some like backlash on that, because yeah, it was a bad call. Sorry, but like they mentioned it, saying we should have saw what was in front of us instead of just like the thing that we really wanted. Like, this thing was popular, everyone loved it. We should have just focused on that. And I agree, you should have. But like, I don't know. It's just like your IP took such a hit.
Here's the thing, is especially when it comes to Blizzard and the suits and all that other fucking heinous shit. This is what baffles me. Blizzard for years has like spread into books, into comics. It's no stranger to other multimedia, and it's been successful in those other multimedia. But I still find it fucking wild that the only movie that Blizzard has produced was that Warcraft movie, like what, at this point, 5, 7 years ago?
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, like because I think I was still at that fucking data backup job I was at many moons ago. I think I even was still in IT originally at that point. That was
2016.
Yeah, so I was still in IT at that point before I went into HR, then back in IT. So it's one of those things that, like, that's fucking wild to me that was the one movie. So it's been almost 10 years since they last put out a movie. How the fuck has Blizzard? And granted, I mean, we've said that about Nintendo for a long time, but Nintendo does dabble in a lot of things over time. But I mean, like, truly, how is Blizzard, whose predominant thing that has advertised their games been cinematic trailers, not delve deeper into animation and doing actual more with it? And I feel like at this point, no one would give a shit. Like, they've ruined so much goodwill between everything with the leadership team, between everything that's transpired with Overwatch since it's gone on. But like, I feel like the zeitgeist for Overwatch is gone.
It is. It's so popular. It's not gonna be twisted. It's still popular.
It's like
But
League of Legends though, pre-Arcane.
The zeitgeist
It's
of it is now gone. They have to work to build that up. Is it possible to build it back up? Yeah, I think it's possible. But it takes an absolute overhaul of everything they've been doing. It's them having to hunker down and be like, all right, this is our new focus. From now on, you do not stray this path. You have to now reclaim everyone that has left frustrated. Now you start investing into the animation. Now you start doing this again. You need because even after all this nonsense, even after a couple years of disappearance, Junker Queen's cinematic was big.
Yeah, truly. Like, theory talk right now. You are the project lead for Overwatch now. What is your goal over the next 2 years to fucking turn shit around? How are you leading the team to do something different?
We focus on different game modes. We focus on fixing up the maps and integrating them into the playlist because we still have maps that we've retired for some reason. We can bring those back in, bring it into the fold. I think you become wildly transparent. I think we figure out a budget for every other character that comes out. We have a massive cinematic. It is a May style Bastion Reinhardt style cinematic where we're like, that's how you introduce your new character. You blow them the fuck up. I want this to be like it's not like a Smash character announcement because obviously like Smash you have a character you're hoping for, but you want them to like blow up and be like, this is cool. I want to play that character. I will buy that battle pass. Perfect. I think in between seasons, or in between the characters, it's a map and you're trying your best to like focus on that. Maybe a new mode every other one, new maps. Like you need to just funnel in new content and then eventually work towards maybe a bigger other thing. I think it's just a matter, and also, you know what? I think you manage this shop better. I think we've already established that we're doing this monetary shit. I get it. Drop prices. I think that you've lost people like me who would I'll spend $20 on an event because I play a lot. I got some loot boxes, didn't get the one I want. I'll put $20 in. Maybe I get some more coins or something like that. I've bought 2 skins in Overwatch 2 because the skins are so fuckingly atrociously priced, and I'm just like, I'm not buying them. And there was some skin that passed on them. I'm like, would have bought it if it was like half the price. And I understand the economics of like whales are gonna always populate that shit, but I don't want. There's a fine line between decently priced and prices. I understand. It's like, I don't know. I guess I want to look at the psychology of it. You see one guy wearing something and suddenly you want it, but then I also see the other way where it's like you see a lot of people wearing that. Now I want it. So I don't know, but I think you find goodwill in the consumer base and lower prices because that's been a point of contention too. So I'm essentially flood the content, blow up the content, make everyone reattach to these characters, and I think story missions, I would say you do not put them on the battle pass. I'd say you bundle them all together for like $30 into one little package of like, hey, here's Overwatch colon save the world or something like like some Overwatch what I'm saying, like it's some dumb thing like that, like a $30 expansion pack, and this is just the campaign. You can't have that skill tree thing. You're gonna charge $60 for that as well. Cut that price in half. Just story missions. Have all your cinematics. Have all that cool shit in there. That's it.
All right.
What would you do?
So here's what I would do. Is I would kind of go on a similar path of you, but slightly different.
I'd blow the building up.
Yeah. Here's what I would do. Because I know at the end of the day, you still have to make investors happy. But I would like to try to balance making investors happy and actually making players happy. Because at the end of the day, you don't have a product if people don't want to touch it. So here's what I would do. One, I feel like the biggest weakness of Overwatch is the lack of real casual interest. Like it has been held up because it has had such a very strong, active, invested community, and a lot of that has been lost. So I would have predominantly a focus on one, a PvE aspect. Have that be the casual market entry point where it's like, oh, here's stories, here's fluff, here's completely for free introductions to all these characters. Let's get you attached to these characters. Let's give you reasons to care about these characters because it's that gotcha game mechanic where let's give you a reason to be attached. In these unique modes, you play as these characters during certain points in times during the Overwatch storyline. All those actual skins, though, put them behind a paywall because the hardcore that really get into it, then fuck it. At that point, they're gonna want those skins. Or the casual player, even that's like, oh, I really like this storyline and this character skin, but if I want to actually play them beyond the story mode, I need to get that skin separately. Perfect. There you go. $2 or whatever it ends up being to balance it out. Fuck it. Here you go. Buy that skin. There you go. Now, when you're playing in online modes beyond the story mode, you have that skin and can keep that memory with you of what you went through. And I would build that up. I would have that be the initial casual focus. And then for multiplayer, like the actual hardcore focus, I would go ahead and introduce a series of modes. I'd have it be a seasonal rotation where there's 5 different modes, where it's traditional 6v6, and have a rebalance of certain things based on what mode you're playing. 6v6, 5v5, and then from there, introduce 3 wildcard style modes, almost kind of going like what the Magic the Gathering community does, where they come up with a lot of interesting rule sets to play Magic the Gathering that ultimately end up growing into official formats. Do that with the community maps. Look at how much people have fun with Dumo. We always found groups of fucking Dumo.
Sure.
Do something like that where you have 3 wildcard modes where it's like, all right, we see that this is a popular thing within the community. Fuck it. We'll make it competitive. Here's competitive Dumo for a season. There you go. Have fun. You are now the competitive Supreme Dumo player. Or fucking whatever. You have a mode that really catches fire and it's, I don't know, all May only fucking ice walls. And it's like a tag mode essentially. Or some other bullshit. Just keep an actual pulse on what the community is actually engaging with and create a competitive aspect out of it and be like, cool, all right, here's your 2 modes, the traditional 6v6 and the newer 5v5, and then from there, bam, the 3 most popular, what the community has kind of done, here's your officially sanctioned competitive mode for that. And just rotate that out. You always have your 6v6 balance, you have your 5v5 balance, and then you have a rotating seasonal, like, all right, this is what the community's actually interested in. And then if something really catches fire, like in Magic the Gathering, where EDH becomes such a popular format that it became a proper format for this series, permanently became Commander or Pioneer or Little Leaders or any of the other various player formats that became so popular that they became a actual format competitively long term, do that. Where I don't know, fucking again, just to use the as the example, fucking Dumo so popular, permanently, bam, here you go. We just always have a Dumo mode,
Well,
and
that's
then we rebalance it around that.
Griffball in Halo.
Yeah, exactly.
Griffball Infection. Those are all became like actual official modes. Um, I could see that. Um, they do that a little bit, so they were making like Mr. Heroes competitive and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Okay. Cal says high pricing combined with how the fake currency is priced. I agree. And then he also says hindsight is 2020, but I wouldn't have drip feed the characters. Overwatch 2 need launch of maybe those first four all at once. Ironically, a Genshin style gotcha single player would have made money.
Exactly.
I think they should have never rebranded this Overwatch 2.
No. 100%.
It should have been
There was
Overwatch 2.0. Would have made like a little bit more of a connection of like
yes.
it's the next level of that. But what they never should have said, it never should have said we're making the client whole like this whole thing like that. It should have been its own game. This whole Overwatch campaign should have been Overwatch colon something else, like tagline it, something like that. It should have been an actual different different game that would have just coincided with that. It would connect to the server, and you'd be like, oh, you played this. All right, here's your skin in Overwatch 2.0. Cool, you get it that way. It's fine. But I think just trying to launch it all within this is kind of what muddied things up. If you would just said, hey, we're rebooting Overwatch and Overwatch 2.0. This is our next way of how we're doing things. We're combining, we're getting this now. We're doing this. We're doing that. Cool. Also coming in the future, Overwatch expansion pack. We're doing this, and I'm like, cool, fine, that works. But now it feels like because everything was tied to this, it's all got that weird hindrance, right? Because like if this is Overwatch 2.0, and let's say they had to nix that whole Overwatch thing, Overwatch 2.0 wouldn't have been hindered whatsoever. Be like, all right, we're still playing Overwatch 2, that's fine. But the fact that Overwatch 2 is insinuated to have that now is hindered. Because originally Overwatch had that tag Origins Edition, but they never built off of that.
Yeah, the name does imply that it's like almost even a prequel concept where they're just getting started with a grander story.
Which makes sense. Like it makes sense with what they were going with, but like I don't know. It's again, it sucks because like hindsight is 2020. Everything got mismanaged and it sucks, and then it just didn't help that fucking Bobby Kotick is on top of the fucking pyramid of that too.
You know, honestly, I kind of want to see the alternate universe where we just actually got Project Titan and see what that actually looked like.
Sure. Well, we talk about this as if I'm not gonna go play it. Still, I'm still enjoying my time with it enough that I'm having fun with it. But I don't fuck with the competitive. I know Kells plays that. Or he had some stuff to say about that on Twitter, but I don't really fuck with the competitive mode in Overwatch, unfortunately. I cared about it more in Overwatch 2, or Overwatch 1, but I just don't really have a care for it. I'm playing what I play, get some challenges done, and I go.
I wish we could go back and actually play like that's to me is the biggest crime of it all. Is I kind of wish I could go back and play Overwatch 1, but that doesn't exist anymore. Like you made a sequel, air quotes, that erases your original game. That's just fucking disgusting to me.
I
You can never go back and play Overwatch.
I genuinely want to know what I'm not a game developer, so I'm not gonna say that much, but I genuinely want to know what the logistics of how chaotic it was, because like I remember when they added Bob into or Ash and Bob in there, it kind of fucked with the game a bit because it was now 7v7 because essentially Bob is a character. But then it was like I know that they removed one character, but now they can add like weather elements. And I'm like, what? At what point is it like the game can't handle this, the engine can't handle this, and the engine can't handle this? Can the engine handle a 6v6 and a 5v5 thing going on at once? Is that possible? It feels like it's possible, but like I'm not a game developer. I don't know if that's like a
It's
whole
possible because
engine.
it's calling on different instances. Like I went to school for game development. Granted, I didn't graduate because I realized that college was a waste of fucking money because I'll never use game development in fucking Maine. But it's one of those things at the end of the day, 100% having the different modes doesn't matter. It's just calling on different instances of the engine. So that's why, but really what it comes down to is they didn't want to balance it for multiple instances. They wanted to just focus, which is what bothers me even more. Because really, at the end of the day, what they have done is instead of, again, and it's kind of legitimate what they said. I'm going to make some presumptions here, but just knowing what I know of coding and tech at large, because at the end of the day, I am the sysadmin by certification and trade. And I know some coding because of college and from what I've had to do in the past. What they've effectively done is they had Overwatch 1, and then at some point they're like, we want to enhance this engine. Now, when any MMO does this, so look at like WoW and Final Fantasy 14. And WoW is an very interesting case because of especially what's happened recently over the last couple of years, where they just keep enhancing on the engine. It's the same engine, but it keeps getting better. When Final Fantasy 14 A Realm Reborn released, we were still in the age of like 360 just coming into like Xbox One. Now there's native 4K support. It's the same engine, but there's native 4K support in Final Fantasy 14. In WoW, over the last couple of years, what's one of the bigger stories we've covered that I was actually gave Blizzard kudos for? We have classic server support. And not only that, but now we're at a point where you can play the original experience of WoW up to level 60. You can play the enhanced original experience of Burning Crusade up to that point. Of now even the Frozen Throne. Every instance of the original release to the second expansion, you can play the content exactly as was up to those points in perfect time capsules. And yet, and I know it's different divisions, different teams, different budgets, but at the same time, effectively what we're talking about here is they've taken an engine, they've enhanced it for the air quotes sequel, Overwatch 2. But instead of just saying, okay, here's the original 6v6 mode, this is Overwatch 1, we don't officially support it anymore. Here's your archive. The last patch we've done to it is all that exists anymore. These servers will be called upon when you play that and go, and then these servers are going to go ahead and be called upon when it comes time for you playing Overwatch 2. And I know that's ultimately what it comes down to. Is I'm sure they wanted to save on server space, because I'm going to guess that especially for Overwatch, they probably don't have in-house server farms. This is just assumptions I'm going to make based on probably what their budgeting is for teams. And I know I'm making a lot of assumptions here, but it's educated assumptions, I'll admit. Probably what's happening is they pay for either AWS hosting or they pay for Azure hosting for their servers. At least for Overwatch, I imagine with how in-depth WoW is, they probably have in-house server farms all over the globe. But for something like Overwatch, I suspect they probably went the cloud route and have either AWS or Azure hosting servers. And instead of paying for the amount extra of what it would be to keep and maintain the cost of the original and then have the newer ones, they were just like, fuck you. We'll make all of it the 5v5, because the alternative is that they just closed it down entirely. And that's the only reason why that has to be the way they went. of going that, because if it was physical servers and they were just like, all right, we're going to go ahead and make more server clusters to support this 5v5 setup, it would not be that much overhead to go ahead and manage in the grand scheme of things.
I don't know though, but like I don't know. I like see like games like you know, like Marvel Snap, like a character gets introduced that just busts the game. It's literally a character that can move and it has like a new ability, but just fucks the entire game.
Well,
Like
that's just shitty balancing.
but that's what I'm saying though. Like especially when you have 30 some characters doing like these crazy fucking different things now. Like fucking Lifeweaver can literally just yank. He just yoinks you. He literally yoinks you. Like there's characters doing all this different shit. I can't imagine that doesn't do something in terms of everything. Like I want to get the benefit of the doubt saying that there's something going on there that like will fuck with things. Because it's not just like
pee again.
Put this in there.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
1 second.
Can't just be put this in there and be done with it. So, all right, buddy, come on. Let's go. I know you want to hop up here. Hurry up. Hurry up. Waiting. There you go, buddy. You did it. I'm so proud of you. Everyone, juice the cat. Say hi, buddy. Belly, buddy, 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 buddy. Ow. No belly. Buddy, 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 buddy. But man, Overwatch is such a weird fucking case of just like mishandling shit, which is unfortunate, but their QA is trying to unionize too, right? So of course they can't bug test them. Yeah. I don't know, it's a clusterfuck. A lot of things are clusterfucks. That writing strike. Apparently Deadpool is written and has to go, but now during filming Ryan Reynolds cannot do any improvisational lines because that goes against the writer's strike and against the script. Well, that sucks. So everyone's like, yeah, do not fucking film Deadpool 3 when you are not allowed to improv. Do not do that. Please do not do that. Disney, do not do that. Jesus H. Christ. Why do I feel like we have to like explain shit like so stupidly like that, right? Like, come on. We got Transformers 2. Big shout out to Transformers 2.
This is a door.
You
That
good?
beer sneaks up on you. Yeah.
Interesting. David, what do you want to talk about next?
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk.
That hurts.
Yeah. Look, it's not a Blue Rupees without my shitty singing.
This is true.
Fucking. Let's talk about a certain fighting game reveal that happened.
Go for it.
All right.
I'm not a big. Like I don't mind it. I'll play it, but like I'm not a big fan of this. So I mean, it's more like you go off on this.
All right, so I'll talk about this because I have been a fan of this series since I was a youth. This has been something I've always adored, and that is Ed Boon is a shit poster, and finally he actually said something that was accurate. He has tried to lie and say for a while now that we weren't getting a Mortal Kombat reveal, even though leaks have shown for a long fucking time the thing they were working on was Mortal Kombat. And it's true. We have finally gotten a peek at Mortal Kombat 12. Which is fucking Mortal Kombat 1. So for the second time in the series, we've rebooted everything. We've only had 3 games in the last reboot. I don't fucking get it. So to kind of explain things, because based on your reaction, I'm gonna assume you really
No,
didn't play much Mortal Kombat 11, right?
I don't play much Mortal Kombat in general. Like
Okay.
I'll dabble in it, but not too crazy.
So to give you a TLDR Mortal Kombat history. So we had Mortal Kombat 1, the original, all the way up through Armageddon, right?
Sure, I remember that was the reboot.
Yeah, Armageddon was like, all right, whoever wins Armageddon gets Super Wish. And basically with weirdly Mortal Kombat 9, because technically Mortal Kombat versus DC was a canonical game, uh with Mortal Kombat 9, which is Mortal Kombat like 2011 or where the fuck year it came out in, the whole story of that is Raiden won Armageddon and was like, bro, I'm gonna set my consciousness back into the past and undo this shit. And Raiden fucked up. Like that is the whole story of Mortal Kombat 9 through 11 is Raiden fucks up. And it's just a long series of Raiden thinking he knows what's best, dying again because he died in Deception, technically before Deception.
How the fuck did he win Armageddon if he died in Deception?
He was a ghost, but then it's complicated. So long story short with Deception, literally the way the game starts is Raiden fighting Shang Tsung and Quan Chi. The both of them ultimately are like kicking his ass. And then they fucking beat him. And then they're like, all right, well, we killed the last defender of Earthrealm. Why don't we just turn on each other and start kicking each other's ass? So Quan Chi and Shang Tsung start fighting each other. And Onaga, who's this long lost dragon.
Wait, pause. Did you get record or something? Because your mic is ass. You paused for a second, and it sounded like your mic changed. Now you're silent.
Now I'm silent.
Now you're good. Now you're good.
Okay. That's weird. All right. So Quan Chi basically beat Shang Tsung. And then he's like, all right, I guess I stand supreme on everything. And then a long lost emperor of Outworld, fucking Onaga, shows up. And he's like, bro, I'm the fucking strongest there is. Like, you guys may have beat, like, fucking Raiden and Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn and all this other shit, but, like, I run this shit secretly. And so Quan Chi's like, all right, fuck you. I'll take you on. And Quan Chi's not enough. And then Shang Tsung's like, JK, I wasn't dead. And he gets up. So Quan Chi and Shang Tsung team up again to take on Onaga. It's still not enough. So then Raiden gets back and was like, JK, I wasn't dead either. And all three of them, Raiden, Shang Tsung, Quan Chi, canonically at that point, like the three most fucking powerful characters, team up and still are not enough to defeat Onaga. He's like, all right, well, I guess I'm kill all three of you. So all three of them get killed, but they all come back because it's Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
And so basically, like a revenant version of Raiden exists after that point, but then also like the spirit of Raiden kind of exists, and they fight, and then Raiden takes over, and then Spirit Raiden sends his consciousness back into the past and warns past Raiden of Mortal Kombat 1. Bro, here's all the dumb shit that happens if you let it happen. So that's the whole point of Mortal Kombat 9, which was the reboot Mortal Kombat originally, is Raiden's like, oh, shit, things go bad if I let them happen the way they're supposed to. And then things get worse because he tries to interfere with things. So that all happens until we get Mortal Kombat 11, which I know I've already spoiled a lot of shit, but because it is the most recent Mortal Kombat games, I'll give a quick spoiler warning. Spoilers for Mortal Kombat 11 if you haven't played it for some reason yet and you're interested in knowing. So by this point, more characters have died. A lot of like staple storyline characters like Jade and Kung Lao and other characters have died at this point. And it's retelling Mortal Kombat 3 essentially, but with a lot of altered plot elements. And by the end of the game, Raiden effectively steps down and gives away. It's almost like, do you remember? Fuck, did you watch Mortal Kombat Armageddon when that came out as a film?
No.
Okay, so in Mortal Kombat Armageddon, Raiden basically forsakes his power as an Elder God, which is dumb. It makes no sense in the movie, but in the game it makes sense. So in Mortal Kombat 11, Raiden effectively is like, fuck it, I'm ineffectual, I'm giving away my god power. And he gives his status as an Elder God to Liu Kang. So
Okay.
Liu Kang becomes an Elder God of fire and lightning. And Liu Kang saves the day. And Liu Kang beats Krona, who's in control of time and space and all this other bullshit. And that is effectively the trailer setup for Mortal Kombat 1, which is Mortal Kombat 12, in that Liu Kang sends his consciousness even further into the past. Because the whole in Mortal Kombat 4, they set up a storyline in that Goro was the person. So in Mortal Kombat original, Goro had won the previous 9 Mortal Kombat because it happens like every couple generations essentially.
Sure.
Where it's like, and so Shokans, they're half dragon, half people. They live long ass time, whatever. Goro had been like successfully winning Mortal Kombat tournaments for Outworlds.
Okay.
And in Mortal Kombat 4, it sets up the fact that Liu Kang. No. That's right. It's the Defenders of Earthrealm that fucked it up. The Mortal Kombat continuity is really weird, and I have a lot of it mixing around in my head, and I'm partially drunk right now. But in Mortal Kombat 4, if I remember correctly, because I remember the Defenders of Earthrealm, the cartoon series based on Mortal Kombat, messed with the continuity a little bit. And I think I'm remembering it correctly, not the fucked up way. But if I remember correctly, in Mortal Kombat 4, the original way it was intended was Kung Lao's great ancestor, who also happened to be named Kung Lao, was defeated by Goro in that Mortal Kombat tournament. The Mortal Kombat 12 / Mortal Kombat 1 trailer effectively sets up the storyline where Elder God Liu Kang sent his consciousness far back into the past to where Kung Lao's great ancestor, Kung Lao, was competing in Mortal Kombat and got that warning from Liu Kang, who is now an Elder God, saying, bro, shit's wild. We should fix a few things this far back in time. And that is the setup. That is effectively the trailer setup that we get for Mortal Kombat 1, which is the second continuity reboot we have now had, where they're like, all right, we don't know what to do with this series. We could retell Mortal Kombat 4's story with altered storylines. We could retell and keep going down that route, but instead, we're going to go ahead and retell the original great storyline with that. Kel's in the chat, damn, David had called my theory too. Hell yeah. Like, it's one of those things, like, Mortal Kombat has been one of those fighting game series that the lore has forever lived rent-free in my brain. I know a stupid amount of Mortal Kombat lore. Back in the day, I actually won, and this is back when I still sold and got rid of and just threw out, honestly, a lot of my game boxes and stuff. But, like, I would win merch for Mortal Kombat left and right because of how much I retain Mortal Kombat lore in my brain. Like, I have a Mortal Kombat gold Pog Slammer because I remember that shit. I have the, like, Sindel version of the Armageddon Collector's Edition. I still have the Johnny Cage one. I think at one point I bought like one of the other ones. So I could have all 3 of them was that. The other one was Sonya and Kano. That was it. So it was Goro and Johnny Cage. It was Sindel and Katana. And it was Sonya and Kano. if I remember correctly, for those 3 on the PS2 collector's editions. Because Armageddon. Did Armageddon? I don't remember if Armageddon on Xbox got a collector's edition. I want to say it did, but I want to say it had like Melina on it. Melina and Baraka, weirdly. But anyways, I retain a lot of really stupid Mortal Kombat knowledge. Yeah, so that's what's going on in Mortal Kombat 11 is we have no gameplay, which I think is a bold strategy considering the game comes out in like a couple months. It was like what, September, I think they said that it comes out.
Which I'm into though. I like that.
I like that it's coming out September, but like we had no gameplay in its reveal trailer. It was literally pure cinematic of like, all right, the god of thunder and fire, Liu Kang, goes back to the great past to fucking Grandpappy Kung Lao. And it was like, bro, shit's really fucked in the super future. Let's try this again all the way back here. And fix things all the way back here, which makes more sense because one of the other things they showed off is they're like, oh, like fucking what if super blood enemies were like brothers, because they have like the Shirai Ryu, which is Scorpion's clan,
Sure.
and the Kun Lang. Fuck, it's escaping my brain exactly. But Sub-Zero's clan. Are like, oh no, we're brothers, we're tight, we're cool, and like that was a blood feud again, also for generations in Mortal Kombat lore. Made even worse when original Sub-Zero killed Scorpion, and then Scorpion killed original Sub-Zero, but quelled when Sub-Zero 2 was like, bro, you killed my brother, and Scorpion wanted to kill him. It was like, oh shit, I thought you were a specter of your brother. All right, never mind. We're cool. We're best friends now. Was that Bihan 2? How does that work? Yeah, I don't think that was Bihan. I think that was because Bihan was the original Sub-Zero. I don't think that was Bihan because if what I'm thinking that they showed is correct, and that it's like the great ancestors, we're genuinely getting like probably the original birth of the Shirai Ryu and the original birth of the Quinlan. I would honestly be surprised if we even had the Black Dragon or the Red Dragon. We probably won't get those at all. Maybe we would get like a baby faction of the Black Dragon. But if I remember correctly, Kano was like one of the founding members of the Black Dragon. So I doubt we will actually get any Black Dragon, Red Dragon. But I think with that, we definitely are getting Cyber Ninjas. There's no way in hell we're getting Cyber Ninjas with this storyline. Man, this is why like I do love Mortal Kombat, is because it is one of the few fighting games that really invests heavily in its lore. And it's again kind of going with like what we were talking about with Overwatch 2. That's where the casual market is. They want a reason to give a fuck about all these characters and to play. In
Right.
Mortal Kombat, more than any other fighting game series, aside from Street Fighter with 6 is doing a fuck ton to invest in the casuals. But prior to 6, Mortal Kombat has been like the most go-to for the casual market because of how much more beyond just competitive it offers.
Right.
And so I want Mortal Kombat 12/1 to really be good. My concern is that I really hated the direction that 11 took.
Sure.
With the introduction of Injustice 2 and then by extension MK11, they really tried to put an emphasis on like character customization based on the equipment you selected, or just
Stop
like,
attaching
oh,
shit to people. I fucking hate it.
yeah,
Give me the goddamn
like,
characters. That's all I want.
like the best version of that ever, honestly, was Mortal Kombat 10 or Mortal Kombat X, however you prefer to say it. I like that it's like, okay, here's a character and here's like three different variations of how those characters operate. It kind of felt like Marvel versus Capcom, where it's like, here's a character, here's three different variations of how their assist mechanics works. Which, by the way, was also one of the things that was confirmed, is there's assist mechanics. So we're getting a Mortal Kombat with Marvel vs. Capcom 1 style assist mechanics, where there's just a character whose only function is to be an assist character, which fucking wild. All right, I'll take it. I'll take a weird pseudo tag game, but like, it's fucking weird. Like, everything about this game is fucking weird. And like, I also appreciate weirdly that Jean-Claude Van Damme has been confirmed to be like a character skin for Johnny Cage, because that was the whole point of Johnny Cage to begin with, is he was literally meant to be Jean-Claude Van Damme. When they originally pitched Mortal Kombat, when they were working on the game, it was a basically a parody of Big Trouble in Little China. And one of the things they wanted to do was to create basically a Jean-Claude Van Damme, where a Hollywood martial artist that wanted their martial arts to be taken seriously but didn't, literally they had him in mind and they almost got him. But if I remember correctly, because of the timing, he was working on another film at the time and got involved in another project. And so because of that, they couldn't get him. So like, all right, well, we'll just make Johnny Cage more of a uniquely original character. And honestly, in retrospect, that's probably why I have such an attachment to Mortal Kombat, because Big Trouble in Little China is one of my favorite films of all time. And also, I feel like it is because it's a nostalgia thing, because I grew up, like, some of my first memories of going to an arcade in this area is involved in Mortal Kombat, because I don't know why, but Mortal Kombat was hugely... Mortal Kombat, House of the Dead, and Time Crisis, honestly, were huge here in Maine. Right. Those were like always like the most sought after arcade machines. But
I'm hyped for the DLC.
I don't know if that's true or not,
It's
because
true.
I don't know what's going on.
Amazon said it came from Amazon.
Yeah, I don't.
It's true.
Oh man,
it makes too much sense. If anything, if it wasn't true, it's now true.
Yeah.
If it wasn't true, I promise you on God's green earth that NetherRealm is now making that happen.
It's just so weird, because on surface, I don't disagree. I know a lot of people as of late have been really pissy about guest characters in fighting games.
So I'm sorry, grow the fuck up. Guest characters are so good, dude.
I think honestly, as long as a guest character makes some semblance of sense within universe, like
no, fucking Negan.
No, here's the thing. Negan kind of almost makes sense in Tekken. What I'm thinking of is like 2B and fucking Soul Calibur.
No, though, excuse me, they added that lore in though. That was actual lore added in. Negan was not.
But here's the thing. Yoko Taro is a fucking madman that makes everything fucking canon.
I know, the only one I could see it not working is like Yoda.
Yoda and Vader and all them, and Soul Calibur.
No, Vader, fuck it too. Like Vader, because he has a sword. Fuck it. Like his sword is lightsaber. But like Yoda being so small and stuff, no, fuck that. I think
fucking learn to use more low attacks. I don't know what to tell you.
Guest characters are fun. I think guest characters are a good way to keep everyone keep a game lively. Keep it like the what the fuck factor should always be a thing. And that it's just fun. I grow the fuck up. I get that. Oh, I want my legacy character. I want this. Fuck. Sorry, it sucks. Grow up. Grow up.
And it is a little frustrating on someone like get it for something like Mortal Kombat, where let's face it, something like Mortal Kombat and Tekken have such massive rosters of characters. It's like I get wanting a legacy character, but at the same time, let's be honest, a lot of those legacy characters are so niche that outside of like maybe like a handful of really vocal fans of those characters, who's gonna want those versus like, you know, case in point, one of the characters that's air quotes leaked potentially for the new Mortal Kombat is Omni-Man. Who's gonna go ahead and be like, no man, you know what, where's fucking Drawman? I really need Drawman to be in Mortal Kombat as opposed to Omni-Man. I guarantee you don't know who the fuck Drawman is.
Not every game is gonna be Smash, unfortunately. Smash Ultimate. That's gonna be the one game. It's gonna get with a massive roster they'll ever have that. The rest of them, it's not gonna. You're not gonna hit that. I don't think so.
Yeah. And granted, Mortal Kombat has a history of that though. We had it with Trilogy, we had it with Armageddon, and I feel
Now
like
it's
maybe
too unwieldy though.
it's too unwieldy, but at the same time, I feel like they could do another one of those where it's just like, fuck it, here's like 100 some odd character roster. Fuck it, why not?
Here's why. Smash is the only one that's gonna get away with that because Ultimate was based off of 4, which already had most of the roster in it.
Fair.
Ultimate added like what? 12, 15 base off of like what 4 was and just kept going. That's why, because it was a whole game. These other games now, they take so long in between and they're not gonna be based off the whole of the game. So like Tekken 8, Mortal Kombat 1's not based off the last one as, I don't want to say the word egregious, but that's like the only word I can think of, egregiously as Smash Ultimate, right?
Yeah.
So that's why. Now, sucks. I get if you want a legacy character in there, I get it. But like, you gotta refresh. Some people are gonna take a hit. That's how Smash was for a while. Like one of my mains didn't even make it into fucking 4 when I started playing competitive Smash. Fucking Wolf didn't make it into 4. Sorry. I still got hyped as shit when Cloud showed up. Could have been Wolf, sure. Cloud showing up, grow the fuck up. Guest characters are fucking dope. Omni-Man, Homelander, and Peacemaker. Excuse me. That's a fucking wild. That's a fucking
really
wild trio, dude.
Here's the thing: is like they have the whole WB catalog to pull from. And like Mortal Kombat 9 was definitely a lot of like the horror movie characters, and
which is cool. I love that idea, by the way. So it's so fucking cool that it happened.
Agreed. Although it's weird that we had Freddy Krueger in 9, but Jason in 10. Give us a game where we can have actual Freddy versus Jason.
Oh, did that not happen?
No. Freddy was 9 and Jason was 10, so we did not have the ability to have Freddy versus Jason.
Why?
Very good question.
Someone had to have asked why.
My guess probably is they didn't get Robert Englund back. I don't know, but because that Freddy is definitely a character that I can't remember the actor's name for Rorschach, but kudos to him. He tried with the reboot of the Freddy films, but Freddy is Robert Englund. You cannot separate the two. I don't fucking care. Freddy is Robert Englund. Much in the same way that, like, I really liked the reboot of Hellraiser. I really do. But there's still a part of me that will always associate Pinhead with Doug Bradley. There's just something about, even in the worst Hellraiser films, and likewise with the worst fucking Nightmare on Elm Street films, that will always associate the actor with the character. Someone like Jason, where it's a big fucking dude in a mask. Who cares if it's Jason Hodder or anyone else behind the mask? It doesn't matter as much, but anything that has some semblance of a very distinct personality, it's really hard to separate the two. Kind of like how we'll never see Ash in Mortal Kombat unless we get fucking holy fuck. How's his name escaping my brain? Holy crap.
Look it up.
I refuse. I'm so pissed. I can't remember his name right now. Holy shit. Fuck, I'm so pissed at myself. Why can I not remember Ash's fucking actor? Holy shit. Pisses me off too, because he even had a cameo in goddamn Spider-Man, not Spider-Man, Multiverse. Fucking A.
It's a soup.
Fucking A.
It's a soup.
My brain is gone.
Soup.
All right.
David.
Soup.
Soup brand.
Soup brand.
What's the famous?
Bruce Campbell. There we
you
go. Holy shit.
There you go.
Fucking Bruce Campbell. There's no way we would have Ash the character in Mortal Kombat, because I think even Bruce Campbell even said that, is that They tried really hard to get Ash into Mortal Kombat 11, but because they couldn't work something out with Bruce Campbell, they didn't get Ash in the game. There's just so many characters like that that are so synonymous with their actors that I don't think we would ever get them without that being the case.
Hold on a second. This is curious. What the fuck? Uh, what the fuck is Mortal Kombat Mobile?
Fucking mobile game. I don't know.
You know that had Jason and Freddy in there.
No, I don't follow mobile games.
I'm just curious how Mortal Kombat Mobile was able to get those two together, but they couldn't get it on console.
I don't
That's
know.
wild. You're the fucking Mortal Kombat guy. You should know everything.
I don't give a fuck about mobile games.
So, part of the lore.
I've made that a statement so many times throughout the years. I do not give a fuck about mobile games. I don't pay attention to that space at all. I don't care. My phone is designed for one thing, and that's making fucking calls.
Your PC is also designed for doing your fucking work,
Yeah, and I do so much work on it.
and then you do other things on it too.
Yeah, and I play video games because that's also another thing that's heavily designed for.
Yeah, and not your phone.
No, fuck that. My phone is designed for two things: making calls and keeping track of my game database. That's all it
No,
does.
I'm just looking.
Anyway, so yeah, that's Mortal Kombat 11.
Big shout outs.
I don't, or Mortal Kombat 12 rather. I don't like that we're rebooting again. I think it feels kind of lazy from a story perspective. It feels like they wrote themselves into a corner and they're like, fuck, we don't know what to do with these characters now. Especially considering we had a fucking whole, like, potential reveal for what would have happened with Shinnok in Mortal Kombat 4 if we continued in that storyline direction. And we just don't do it. So it's fucking dumb.
But now we
Hey,
got
lol.
Omni-Man versus Homelander.
Yeah, which is, I find it weird that we're getting that, and we've even had like Mortal Kombat guest star characters guest star in Injustice, and we still don't have a Mortal Kombat versus DC 2. If you were going to reboot the universe anyways, fuck it. Give us Mortal Kombat versus DC 2 and then reboot the universe after that.
Dude, I just want the White House to be a stage when it's Homelander versus Peacemaker. The White House is not the background. We've done it wrong.
I haven't followed anything with the boys, so I don't know.
Homelander is just literally Superman, but fucking hyper, like Captain America, like style, like fucking patriotic, like fucking love
Gotcha.
this country. And you know Peacemaker,
All right.
America.
Although Captain America was about the ideal of America and less about the actual country.
Yeah, well, I should say he's like Superman. He's Superman, but like massive patriotic Superman.
I will say, from what little do you know about the boys, it sounds more like the comedian's take on it.
First off, I feel like you would like the boys.
I read some of the comics
Stop reading the
way
comics.
back when, and the comics were really fucking rough, and I couldn't fucking.
I've heard. I started them. I didn't really get through them, but I heard the comics were the rough ones. The show is where it's at.
All right, I'll give the show a try because the comics were reminding me way too much of like the Rat Pack, which was just a very mean-spirited parody of a lot of comic tropes, and it didn't sit well with me.
I understand that. But imagine the way I saw the boys is imagine if superheroes were actually real.
I'll give it a try because straight up, do you think it's something I would enjoy?
You like parodies, satirical takes on pop culture media, and absolute utter realism in a real world situation if this fantasy shit was actually a thing, and massive amounts of violence and gore.
All right. I will give it a try at some point soon because over the years I trust you to know what my tastes are, so I'll give it a fair try soon.
Like for a second, envision it. Well, what do you think if superheroes were real? What do you think if they were actively
Corporations
real?
taxing the shit out of the shit, everything.
How are they taxing that? What do you mean?
They would go ahead and try to basically militarize everything involving superheroes, and any
Okay.
superhero that doesn't do that would be basically put on a fucking hit list.
How are you gonna kill something that's like fucking indestructible like that though?
Uh, Military projects involved with trying to figure out how to do that.
You're kind of
Uh,
like on the right path, but like think a little more broader too now. Okay, what
Trying
about
to
the
go ahead and bribe in some way
okay?
the strongest part of that. You'd be like, no, don't worry. We'll give you like protection, we promise, as
So
we're not trying to secretly also figure out how to kill you.
yeah, Kel says you get to see the inside of a urethra in the show. This is true.
Okay.
It's all right. You'll get there. You'll understand. Um, militarized marketing. David, what do you think would happen when superheroes are real?
Oh yeah, there's going to be weird insurance law bullshit going on with that. There's going to be a lot of ones that are heroes explicitly for hire, where it's almost like a mercenary
You're
thing,
thinking,
where they'll
okay. You're thinking too like there's money,
yeah,
marketing.
corporatization of everything.
All of a sudden, you got like these nice little like billboards of these pretty boys. Like, hey, these are our heroes. These are the ones that save everyone. Okay, now think as a real life human. What do you think?
Abuse of power, like again, like I'm familiar with some of the first few comic runs of it.
Now
So like, I
imagine,
know some of the heinous shit that goes on, or at least originally. I don't know if it's in the series, but I
yeah,
know,
you know, you've seen how it starts, kind of like Huey's just
yeah,
there, and then 1 second he's with this girl Robin, and then literally just blood everywhere, and then
yeah.
the superhero just goes off, is like, sorry, my bad.
Well, and again, that's why I was like, I read the comics and then I kind of like, ducked out because, especially as soon as it got into the anytime a female hero was signing up for things, they were getting raped and shit. It's like I'm all set with all this shit. I'm good. I don't.
That's not too far from still where the show had to go, but like there's ramifications and issues with it though. Like
My problem is, see, that's the thing. It's one of those things that, especially when I was younger, I was a very big proponent of nothing should be off guard. And on some level, I'm still of that. I feel that anything should be able to be discussed, but I feel that a writer should actually have something to say. And I feel that, especially shit like Game of Thrones slash, Song of Ice and Fire series, and other shit like that, doesn't actually have anything to say about it and more just uses it as a lazy fucking literary tool. And especially in the comics, at least from what I read of that, it was a lazy fucking literary tool, and they did nothing to actually have a
so
discussion of it.
they uh they expand on a lot of stuff. So like that's the thing, and that is fine. You'll understand it more, and you give it time, you'll understand where it goes. But I would like to say that I think in terms of the boys, I think the fact that it happened is just there to iterate. Hey, doesn't matter if you're literally a superhero, this shit's still gonna go on. So we're keeping the real life human element inside of it. So it kind of grounds the fact that like we're still human getting fucked up with this stuff. So like don't think of them as like ungodly, if that makes sense. All right, but watch the boys. I'm excited.
I'll give it a try at some point.
Sure. What else? What else talk about? Yeah, you can talk about the PlayStation thing because
I mean, I feel like we should like skim it real quick. 'Cause
sure.
You and I watched it the other day, and I don't think there was really a whole lot we were like super
So
excited for.
yeah, and then real quick, I don't like to leave a comment afterwards. So like I was saying, the acting in the show it carries a lot too. It makes it better than the source material. I agree. Yeah. So we watched that. There was like decent moments in there. I thought it was all right. Like I thought it was one of the better shows. I thought people apparently shit all
Yeah.
over it online. Um, which I get because it wasn't just PlayStation. It was like a little bit of everything. But I don't know. I like seeing cool games. I saw gameplay, which is what I like. Bless you.
Thank you.
I want to see cool games. I want to see gameplay of them. That's all I give a shit about. I got both
And we
those.
got a lot of fucking gameplay. I was excited for that.
I agree. We can skim through stuff that you want though, David, because I don't really have too many big thoughts on it.
I mean, there was really only for myself because there was a couple of games I'm like, oh, the fiance will enjoy that. But like really throughout the whole presentation, there was only 2 games I really gave a fuck about. The first one was Phantom Blade Zero. That looks
was
fucking
cool.
solid.
Yeah.
That looks like if you gave Devil May Cry Combat to Ghost of Tsushima. I'm
Yeah.
fucking down for that. Let's fucking go. Other than that, the only one that I was like really fucking down for was Spider-Man.
Well, you were Alan Wake 2 as well, but then
Well, Alan Wake 2, I was
you were excited.
for
We're
because
still. I still think we do the games gone by of it though.
I still want to do that because I do want, because I haven't played American Nightmare and I never finished the first one.
Let's confirm that now.
Yeah,
On Blue Ruby's
we'll
episode
resurrect it.
number 205, we mentioned in the recording, at some point this year, Games Gone By will return, and Alan Wake will be one of the returning games.
Hell
The
yeah.
format and timing, Dave and I have not talked about any of that whatsoever, but I've been wanting Games Gone By to come by. I don't want to overpromise, especially over summer, because like I'm gonna do a lot, but I'm also gonna self-care and do whatever I want to do for a bit because I want to. But it will come back. Maybe we'll spice up the format a little bit. Maybe we'll bring like a rotating third in there to talk about like the game. Maybe we'll like bring in someone that like really wants to play that game and talk about that game on for that. But it will return, and Alan Wake will be a game. That's all we'll say.
Also, real quick, shout out to Kels. Yeah, Helldivers 2 looked fun. I really love that trailer. That was a super fun trailer. And I mean, Helldivers is just if you gave prettier graphics to EDF. So I mean,
It looked like a better EDF.
in it. It looked like you just gave prettier graphics to EDF. That's all it looks like. It's literally the same gameplay. It's just prettier graphics.
There was a few cool games in there, but nothing that like, oh my god, I need to like fucking play that tomorrow. Spider-Man 2 looks clean though. I'm super excited for Spider-Man 2.
That looks fantastic. I'm really glad like how much we got of a trailer for that to really get into that. I'm excited. Especially anytime you get Venom suit, Peter Parker. I'm excited for that.
If Peter's in the black suit, is he allowed to say the word?
That's a very good question. We should get Neo to confirm his official statement on that.
I do not have enough percentages in my blood to officially hand over more than one end pass. Maybe a year. And I already gave David like one. He said off camera though, so
it's true. You gave me the W pass, so I mean,
yeah, that's true.
Which I'm saving for a rainy day. I'll say it.
Rainy day fun. He's gonna say it.
There's just gonna be one day where I've had a really bad day and I need to scream the W word, but
winning.
Exactly. That's it.
Got it.
The very terrible racial slur against your people, winning.
Or winning. Remember that?
Yeah, with Charlie Chaplin.
There you go.
Not to be confused with the star of 2.5 Men, Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah. Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron, yes. Not to be confused with star of Bonzi Goes to Jail, Charlie Sheen.
Do you have anything to say on anything else, honestly, though?
I mean, there's a couple things where I was like, again, like I said, that fucking game by the artist by Journey, Sword of the Sea or whatever the fuck it was called.
Mhm.
Like that looks
Tony Hawk
like,
meets Journey.
Yeah, Tony Hawk meets Journey. Like that looks like a fiance ass game if I've ever seen one because she absolutely adored Journey. The fucking Revenant Hills also looks like a fiance ass game because fucking QT Farm Sim meets the Day of the Dead and cats and shit, and Yeah, witchy vibes all around. That looks like a fiance ass game. Otherwise than that, I mean, we had like weird generic weeaboo bullshit. We had generic VR bullshit. We had once again fucking Resident Evil 4. Um,
Yeah, I'm still not on the VR2. We talked about that. I'm not sold on
we
it. I'm not
had
spending that much money. That's wild talk to me personally.
we had fucking Splatoon for PlayStation 5, where it's just fucking soap foam essentially instead of ink. I don't know. I mean, like it was a fine presentation, but there was nothing there. After sitting on it for a day, there's well, I guess if you give a fuck, like I'll at least give Konami credit. Konami is at least actually trying now, which is fucking wild to me. But like we got the whole, hey, not only are we remastering, actually completely remaking Metal Gear Solid 3 as Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, here's the Metal Gear Origins Collection, which is the MSX versions of Metal Gear 1 and 2, as well as Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3, all on a physical release. Here you go. Fucking have fun, asshole. Like, that is wild to me. Fucking kudos to Konami. Also, hey, Konami, where the fuck's more of that Silent Hill shit at? We had that presentation, like, what, 6 months ago? And we've yet to see any actual, fruition of all those Silent Hill announcements. Where the fuck is my goddamn actual Silent Hill nonsense?
Yeah.
Kel's in the chat. I'll forever be upset with Konami for how Kojima was handled. Honestly, like as a human being, it's shitty what happened to him. As the fact that it's in a tour of Kojima, I don't give a shit. But
I think if Konami wanted to just have the redemption arc that they were like on there, if they announced that Kojima's like partnered in a producer role to like oversee a lot of that, they
no,
would.
that will never happen.
I did. It won't. But that would have been a massive win for Konami.
No, Konami's already had their redemption arc. We've gotten Castlevania collections.
They're on
We
their way,
have,
but that's
like,
what I'm saying.
Six things of Silent Hill coming out. We have
Let's be wary. I've with those two students I mentioned, they were talking about games they need to play, and one's like, I need to play Silent Hill, and I was like, 2, like, let's be
play
so
1, 2, 3.
Well, let's be brutal honest. If you're gonna play 1, you play 2, like.
Yeah,
I think
you
2.
play the first 3 games straight up.
Here's what I would say, and I'm doing this. Maybe I'm biased because it's how I'm going to do it. I think 2 is a good way to gauge if you're in.
Fair. I'll
Play
agree
2.
to that.
Play 2.
It's modern-ish enough that
it's
like
playable
if you're
enough.
down for what, yeah, if you're down for what 2's bringing to the table, then you go back and you play 1 and then 3, and then if you're really down bad for more Silent Hill, you play 4.
Yeah. So I told him I was like, play 2. I am still terrified of that remake. I don't know. I'm so intrigued into what's gonna happen with that. I have this gut feeling it's gonna review bad, and people aren't gonna like it, and people aren't gonna understand it.
I'm torn because on one hand, I feel like part of my concern comes from Blooper Team. I like Blooper Team's work, but it has not, Blooper Team's work, but it's one of those things that it's not exactly like stand out. Like it's stuff where it's solid, but it doesn't last in your brain. So I hope that with something like Silent Hill 2, you have the blueprint. You literally just have to modernize it. And I feel like that's what we got in that trailer was just fucking modernize it. Don't touch it, don't alter it, just fucking modernize it. That's all you guys have to do. And on the sad side, like I feel like that's kind of shitty to be like, you guys are fine as long as you're not doing your own original shit.
So I disagree. I disagree with the way it's said. So because I don't trust Bloober, and I feel like it's totally fair. Trusting a studio that is like a solid 7 out of 10 studio, I would say. I feel like that's an honest idea. That trusting a 7 out of 10 studio with a game as like Silent Hill 2, which to its credit, at the time, didn't really review that well, right? Am I crazy?
Yeah.
Didn't review
No,
well.
Silent Hill 2 was definitely like a cult classic. All the
It
Silent
one
Hill
that
games
grew.
have been
It
cult
it
classics.
it took time to sizzle. They let him cook. Um, I don't think it's shitty to say that to Bluebird team. I want to say this, and this is my perfect world. I think Bluebird knows how to do everything besides make the story, right? Everything
They understand mechanically.
they understand mechanics. They understand setting and tone. The story's been forgettable. Hey, Bluebird, do your expertise on this game. Don't touch the story. Now you're following along and you're like, okay, now you're learning as a studio. This is how to do a story. Now you're walking through, not touching it, but you're doing everything to your expertise. Now people are praising you. Holy shit. They left alone what needed to be, and they just fucking did their Bluebird team magic on everything else. Now Bluebird team walks away with some high accolades and some like active like, what's the word? Example. They followed along and they got a whole like handheld how you should do a story.
Yeah.
Which is
They're
incredible for them. Like
blueprint.
they've been given a blueprint for future endeavors to be like, hey, guys, everyone do your own. You guys just fucking followed. You guys followed the actual like step-by-step guide of what to do, how to do it, learn from it, and run with it, which is cool. I would think as a team that if I could not figure out how to do this, let me follow by example someone else. That's how I am. I'm like a visual learner. I'm like, let me see how someone else does it, and I'll rock with it. And if they're having to like literally like step by step do that, but they're adding their own shit to it, which was the praise, right? And it's like, holy shit, the story stayed the same. Everything else looks fucking really good though. That's all I need to do. Now, the thing that I'm just like, I gotta get over this. There can be good gameplay mechanics in Silent Hill 2, and we can still not we can get away with that. There can be good mechanics. I understand deep down inside the bad mechanics are part of what makes Silent Hill 2 Silent Hill 2.
Yes.
Shut the fuck up, me. That's fine. Good mechanics is what you need to have to be a successful game. You gotta sacrifice that because if it's play shitty, no one's winning in this. I gotta get that over my because in my perfect world, fuck it, leave it exactly as is. That's how I was Resident Evil 4 though.
The tank mechanics, the weird
so
because like even playing the real quick because like even playing the Xbox version was a weird experience for me because I originally grew up playing the PS2 version, but I got the physical version of the Xbox One, which actually had altered controls, which got rid of the tank controls. You still had the classic option for pure tank controls, but they updated it for the Xbox release. They're like, hey, do you want to like not control like a fucking outdated tank and just want to like actually move around and shit? Here you go. And I was like, holy fuck, I can fucking move like a person.
I want to play Silent Hill 2 with that adapter that I have now.
Oh yeah, no, 100% because that's no, I didn't have the Chimeric, but I still had at least the RetroTink 5X when we did it for Games Gone By, and it looked fucking
dude. So I gotta get over it because it's like I have this thing in my head where I'm just like, don't touch perfection. Improve upon it, but just don't touch it. But I'm like, that's why I was Resident Evil 4. That's why I got shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
I was that with Resident Evil 4. I'm like, did Resident Evil 4 require a gameplay update? Sure. Did I not want you to touch it still? Yeah, I didn't want you to fucking touch it. But like, you all nailed it. I get it. You refresh everything else. Cool. How do you do this one though? Like Resident Evil 4 makes sense on paper. What you gotta do to you're updating an action game to be a better action game.
Yeah.
Silent Hill 2 is not an action game, so you're updating it there. But like, I don't know.
Especially in the case of Silent Hill 2, where the whole Silent Hill series was a product of its time. The fog was explicitly dealt in order to deal with the limitations of draw distance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of the lock is rusted shut is to deal with the fact that we're not really gonna let you try to go into all these environments because we can't handle you going into all these environments. So the limitations of the time ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, were manipulated to create a truly horrific experience. Even to what I would argue, and I feel like you partially agree with me here, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't necessarily want to speak for you, but even down to the shitty mechanics where it adds to the horror of it, almost in a weird way creates that symbiotic relationship where the terrible controls feel like an extension of
So
James' twisted psyche with it all.
I
So
love diving into that shit. Even though that harbors on the barrier of like overindulging a story that's not what it is. But like Spec Ops: The Line,
yeah,
um, Gore would argue with that. I don't give a shit. I still stand by what I say. Is that gameplay is like the most standard, generic, boring piece of shit game. Like it's not bad, but it's not fantastic. It's just like this is a game. That's the point, I think. I think the point is that it's not supposed to be fun. Anyone that says you're having fun during Spec Ops, I think you're doing it wrong. You're not supposed to have fun during Spec Ops. You were playing the game. And the same thing with Silent Hill 2. You were struggling to get through this experience. The struggle is the experience. The fact that you're like having to push yourself through, just like James having to push himself through, that is the experience. It's like similar like Dark Souls, right? The difficulty is part of the reason. That's part of the thing. Celeste, you are struggling to get through this game, but that is part of the experience. In a weird, shitty way, the controls are part of the experience. So how is it going to feel like if you're having fun during Silent Hill 2, right? That's what I'm trying to say is like, you're not supposed to have fun playing Silent Hill 2, but they got to modernize the controls. You have to give it, there has to be a leeway. Something's going to be sacrificed, and people should not be having fun playing Silent Hill 2. That goes against what the idea of Silent Hill 2 is, but I get it. You have to.
And even beyond that, because the other thing that really caught our attention, especially in my instance, as soon as I realized exactly who the writer was, Silent Hill F or Forte, I think is the proper pronunciation that they're going with for it, which is being written by the creator of the When They Cry franchise. That's the first like brand new Silent Hill we've had since the Xbox 360 PS3 era with Downpour, I think was the last release in the Silent Hill franchise. Um and it's just fucking wild to me that not only are we getting we're getting a slew of new games still, but also the fact that hey, here is like a writer that really specializes in fucking getting you attached to characters and tormenting them. Like truly, I even if you don't necessarily want to have the visual novel experience, I highly recommend going and then watching the original anime and then watching the newer anime that came out, because the newer anime is a sequel to the original anime. Even if you don't want the visual novel setup of that, go watch those animes because they still at least speed run the essence of what's going on for that writer. He does nothing but continuously gets you attached to characters. It's like, all right, you enjoying these characters now? I'm gonna fucking make their lives miserable. And does it over and over again. And every time you're like, oh no, I'm not gonna fall for this again. It's kind of dragging. I'm not gonna get sucked in. There's like a new little twist
What is
that's added
this?
in. It's like, though it's referred to as the When They Cry franchise because there's 3 series within
Oh
it.
yeah, I have that on my wish list. Never mind. Yeah, the art
Yeah.
thing that they say. Yeah.
Yeah, so highly recommend that when it comes to as the original Higurashi When They Cry. If you're still not like into the idea of doing a visual novel, go watch the original anime series back in the early aughts and then watch the newer one that came out. I think it was only like a couple of years ago for the newer one. Because the newer one is actually a sequel to the original series. And it makes sense if you already knew the visual novels, but again, if you're just looking to get into it without getting to the visual novels, the anime is a really good introduction. Like each episode kind of speed runs a chapter of the visual novels essentially. So a lot of the nuance is missed, but it still does get you into that gist of like, all right, I kind of dig this character. I'm kind of getting into it. Fuck, holy hell, what are you doing to this character? And it's like, all right, I'm not gonna fall for this again. I'm not gonna let you go ahead and sucker me in. I know what's coming. And it's like, fuck, you presented this in a way that's really making me attached. fucking A, what did you do to this character? Why would you do that?
I was
And
thinking
it's
about grabbing it during the summer sale.
Man, it's frustrating because like it thinking of like explicitly for you, um if I were to like genuinely try to get you into the visual novel genre, there's two games specifically, air quotes, that I would probably recommend you more so because like you like Phoenix Wright, correct? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get through the other ones. It just I need to
Yeah.
spend time doing that.
Because like that's technically a visual novel, but it's more of like a game because it has actual puzzle mechanics. But like
Yeah.
thinking of like actual visual novels and the way it's traditionally thought of, the two that I would probably think of is I think you would honestly have more fun with Yumi Neko When They Cry, which is tangentially related to Higurashi because it's all part of the
I
When They
think I
Cry
added them all.
franchise.
I think I went through a little rabbit hole and tried to find out everything connected. So I think I put them all on my wish list. So if they
I think
throw
if you
big lumps, if they're cheap enough, I'll probably just go for them. Just all of them. Just lump it
they
in.
honestly go on sale for like dirt cheap quite
Yeah.
often. But I think for you, you would probably enjoy the characters and tone of Yumi Neko When They Cry a lot more. If we're explicitly talking the When They Cry franchise. Also because it was explicitly designed as two games, the questions arc and the answers arc.
Yep.
Yeah, it's explicitly designed to be like, okay, this is your game that is purely set up, and then this is the game where shit gets real
Okay.
and is meant
Yeah.
to go through it. The other one, it's genuinely still my favorite visual novel of all time, which is The House in Fata Morgana.
Yeah.
I
One day.
feel
It's so long. It's so.
it is
long.
long. It is a very long sit, but I feel like because you and I are on similar wavelengths with certain types of storytelling and horror and other things,
I know
I
I'll like
feel-
it. I'm sure I'll like it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's chilling. Is it still there? It's chilling somewhere back here.
the only thing I will say is the first story, because it's presented in like a quasi like episodic format, almost kind of like a creep show kind of format, with the way it's kind of initially presented with the storyline. The first story is the weakest in Fata Morgana.
That's fine. I prefer it that way. Give me the weaker one, and let me get the strong ones afterwards. It's fine.
Yeah, it really ramps up really well from there.
Perfect.
But those are the two that I would say, like, if you're trying to go like straight balls deep into your first real just visual novel, those are the ones.
God, they're so.
The third one I would recommend. I still haven't actually finished it
Don't
myself.
save it. Save it with yourself. You're gonna overwhelm me.
Okay,
That's all I am.
so
I've
those
discovered,
are the two.
I discovered something about myself recently. When people recommend me like one or two things, I'm good with it. When people recommend me like 4, 5, 6, I don't do it.
Okay,
So like I had a buddy
So-
that told me, hey, check out some De La Soul stuff. I'm like, all right, I've been wanting to get some big De La Soul stuff. All right, so he gave me 4 albums. I'm like, I'm already. So I've discovered this. I had to go down a rabbit hole a little bit. I get fucking tired at the beginning of games. I forget if I talked about this or not on here. I get
I don't
really
think you have. No.
fucking tired when I start a game or a movie or anything. Like, I will sit down for a brand new fucking game that like Resident Evil 4. I'll be like, all right, sit down, fucking yawn my ass off. Like, I am just like as if I had been up for like 36 hours. I am just fucking incredibly exhausted. Same thing whenever I start a book. If I start anything like that, I get fucking tired. It's not even an undesired task. Like, it's not like doing work. I will just get tired. So I was like, I went down a rabbit hole of the research on this, and I've discovered that through a few videos stuff like that. The reason because is my brain automatically rewires tasks to be determined on the length. So instead of me sitting down being like, all right, time to play Persona 5, I'm fucking excited. Can't wait to see how this rolls out and get to that. My brain goes, all right, I gotta sit down to get to the end. It's gonna be 100 hours. Fuck. My brain wires the task as how much I have to do rather than being excited at the thought of doing it. So when people tell me, hey, do this, do that, I'll do the 1 or 2. I'm like, all right, I could do that. my buddy was telling me, here's Jackson Dale, he gave me 4 albums, 5 albums, and then on the we were talking because he was the one that I was saying, he was like, but then you gotta do this. I'm like, dude, you can't tell me. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, you gotta stop, save it for when I start piecing through it, and then when I get there, I get there. So like he was like, I was gonna power through a couple of them on my trip back, and then my brain is like, no. So I got through 1 album, and he was like, how'd you think? I was like, it was good, but like I need to go through it again. But like the task, when tasks get started, doesn't matter if it be a game. It's like the idea of how long it's gonna be. That's why I could do competitive multiplayer games so easily. Cause like Overwatch, I get in a game, I'm out in 15 minutes. Tops. Right? Like games aren't gonna last that long. Play Smash, the game's then over 8 minutes. Right? Like that's why I can do those, because it's like, all right, the task is not gonna be there. It's a non-existent thing. It's not my brain where I sit down, I'm like, all right, gotta get played through a match. It's like, no, it's like I'll get through it because it's fine. But like the idea of sitting down for a single player game and then knowing that like how long I like to know that how long it would take to beat, but like that's why it's been apparently really difficult for me to stay awake, because I gotta rewire. I'm spending a lot of my time this summer trying to I'm trying my best to like rewire my brain, because I would love to do that. Is rewire my brain to not think so much as to how long I have left, but be excited at doing the task. It just it's a matter of tricking your brain. And there was someone on YouTube that does this, that did a whole video on this too. He's like, you just have to trick your brain and be like, this is a fun thing that I want to do. It's not even tricky. It's like, you want to do this, but you have to trick your brain to stop thinking about how long it's going to be.
Because especially like in our fields, honestly, like a lot of what we do is think of like, okay, what is the amount of time I have to attribute to this type of task? How long can I attribute to this? Like, I feel like time management is a lot of what we do in our professional lives, that it contributes to a lot of that.
Hey, Baggy has a quick request for you.
Yeah. Are? Gar?
No, reel back a couple letters.
No. But yeah, so
that's what I think Bo Burnham did that. He was like, all right, well, you know, like I'm white, so like I do a lot of anything I checks mix, and he'll do that. He get the audience to a whole thing like, you finish this, and you know my favorite chips are salt and vit, and then they say that, and he's like, whoa, that's fucked up, guys. Yeah, sit it last out. There you go. Yeah, sorry, with your tasks.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like that's part of it. Also, as a quick aside, that's one thing we should do too. We never really got to talk about it during the podcast proper, because we were trying to never spoil things. But I feel like you and I could easily do a Games Gone By without having to replay the game again of fucking Persona 5 Royal.
I was gonna say during all this, I listened to Persona 5 music again lately. I'm like, fucking, I just want to play this game so fucking bad. I really want to play Persona 5. I'm like
fucking good.
I just can't though.
After my third playthrough, it's still fucking good.
Yeah, I know, and I'm sure I'd have a great time during it, but I have other shit I gotta play. Like there's,
100%.
I have to start knocking other shit out. Like I'm thinking like, and part of my way of rewiring my brain is maybe making like, get through these games, and you could do that shit later. So it's like if I can get through so many games, I'll rationalize it with like, I'll play Persona 5. If I can knock out like 5 big heavy hitter games this year, I'll play Persona 5 afterwards. That's fine. I gotta do some weird like trickery with my fucking brain right now. Kelsey,
I
identify with
save file. At least you can go ahead and justify it too. Of me like, well, I can just go through the story mode at least now, and not have to worry about anything else.
Yeah, but I want to do it. Kelsey's identify with that. Yeah, so it's a matter of just like having to figure out that whole thing, which is really very frustrating, because it's like I would love to just start doing things like a normal human, but that's not what my brain does. I'm still working through it, but so much stuff keeps coming out. Yeah, and I made it a pretty strict thing this year to like try my best to not buy games at MSRP. So the only game I bought at MSRP this year so far has been Tears of the Kingdom. I do have Dead Space Remake that I'm gonna play through sometime. Probably this probably one of my next games I'm going through, because that seems like a fun, really not too incredibly deep dive. But also this will be the year that I think we have an actual. But we didn't do game of the year last year, which is fine. You and I were struggling on that anyway.
Yeah.
We'll have one next year for sure. But a lot of things to plan. But it's a matter of making sure I can figure out this thing in my brain, so that way when we do games gone by, when we do all this stuff, it's a lot easier and doable.
You know, I think that's the other like weird thing with doing like the games of the actual current year, whatever it is like I don't want to rush to play a lot of games because I do like kind of just like waiting until a lot of shit's been discovered about the game so I can just kind of go through it in one go and be like, all right, I know that I'm not missing anything if I just go through and play it on X route or anything like that. So I feel like that's kind of part of it. And also the fact that like we're almost halfway through this year and I think I've only beat like 5 games so far. And most of them were in January. So I don't think I've even really fucking played anything like really super recent.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to my games beat list here. Yeah, I beat 4 games this year. Those 4 games were Persona 4, Persona 5 Royal. So replaying that again. Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight. Persona 3 Dancing in Moonlight and Inventory Hero. So no games from this year.
Hell yeah.
And it's not for lack of buying games this year. It's just I don't know, like there's just nothing that's been like I need to immediately play that. And that's also kind of like what you were saying, trying not to buy games at MSRP. I'm trying really hard to not do that either, unless I think it's something like Dokapon Kingdom or other games where it's like, that's gonna be really hard to get later on. But like I don't have the same drive to immediately play most things. Like I know when 16 comes out, that I'll probably stop and just fucking play through because I'm super excited for that. But like even like with SMT, I really wasn't super immediate to play Soul Hackers. I thought I thought I was gonna really get into Soul Hackers 2 when that came out, but then it was like, oh, I'm still working on this documentary series on the franchise and still playing a lot of the older entries. I kind of really don't want to touch this newer one for a while. So there's even some things that I'm excited for that I'm like, I don't want to touch it for a while just because I'm so inundated in other shit.
That's fair. I'm a little more upset. There's some games I want to play for sure this year. Tears of the Kingdom, Resident 4, Dead Space. But I can wait a little bit. Like Zelda is not gonna drop in price, so I'll buy Zelda. That's fine.
Yeah,
But
Zelda. The best we can hope for is like maybe $15 off on like Black Friday or some shit because it's Nintendo. But
right, and not even then. I mean, David do be looking less thick recently, and that's good. You been lifting?
yeah,
I need to get into running.
really the biggest thing for me, like when right before the pandemic, when I lost a lot of the weight, honestly, was the fucking Switch Fitness boxing. I need to get back into that, because that really was just like a good full body workout that I was consistent with, and that's my biggest thing is just staying consistent. Because like lifting something, I can go ahead and just in between a lot of other shit, just go and do. But in terms of like getting my whole body fucking up and going, I need to like really be like, all right, half hour a day, every day. I need to commit to doing that again.
Yeah, I hate running. The running gives me the best results over everything. But I just fucking hate it. And everyone's like, you just need to do like not cardio. Probably I do something else. I'm like, yeah, probably. But running is just the easiest and less taxing mentally thing that I want to do. Like I don't want to buy weights. I actually have weights, which I should be doing. So I'm like, also, as of like this, I'm like, I told everyone that I was like going through some stuff and all that. I'm like, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let me wait till graduation. Let me wait till after school. Once the summer hits, I can start like doing shit. I'm like, let me figure it out. So I'm gonna give myself a week to just like not fucking think about a goddamn thing. I'm like, do not want to fucking have any deadline, no shit over my head. I still have to do a little tiny bit more work tomorrow, just to cover for some last little bits of leftover residual from the year. But I'm like, after tomorrow, I'm gonna take a week off, not fucking think about a goddamn thing. And then after that, I'm like, all right, now what's my workout? Because I need to get a workout going. And the cool thing about next year is we go in an hour later. So like instead of going in at 7:25, we actually go in at, I want to say 8:40. So we get to go in like about an hour and some change later, which means like, yeah, if I'm going in like at 8, which is fucking or almost 9, that's like a 2 hour delay. Usually if there's snow here, I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe I'll just like run in the morning. Maybe I'll like, the idea always was like, maybe I just go run the school's track for like half an hour, do that, run back home, take a quick shower, go back in, and feel good about it. Like I'm like a lot more okay with the idea. When I toy with the idea now, I'm like, I don't want to fucking get up at 6 o'clock in the fucking morning. Like, I already do actually. I don't want to get up, or I don't want to be out at 6 o'clock. Doing that. Like, it's not the move. But like now, I'm like, okay, let me fuck around with it. But yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm like, I need to fucking get on this regime or something like that, just because like a regiment.
Because I'll admit, like, I know that I'm not a morning person. Like that's straight up.
Mornings
that's not
can
how
suck my
brain is
dick.
wired. Yeah.
Fucking hate mornings.
I am not awake. It doesn't matter when I physically wake up. I am not awake till 10 a.m. That's just straight up how my brain works. Doesn't matter because like I physically have to get up at least like 6:30 to 7 a.m. for work. But my brain doesn't start actually functioning until goddamn 10 a.m. So fuck getting up even earlier to actually work out. Like if you can do that, kudos to you. But like my brain doesn't start functioning until 10 a.m. and then after that, it's a half hour drive for me back and forth between work. So yeah.
Here's the thing. Okay, so yeah, and I agree. Screw mornings.
Yeah.
Morning workouts, do they suck? Yeah. Are they super incredibly beneficial? Yeah. They would help you gains in the morning are so much better than anything else you could ever do. Also, there's that nice, and I say this because a couple summers ago when I was running, I would do it in the mornings. I'd wake up first thing in the morning, and this was summer, so it was like first thing in the morning was like 8 or 9. I would just run, got out of the way, and that was the good thing is getting it out of the way. It feels good that when you're up, you do it, it's done, and you literally do not have to think about a fucking thing for the rest of the day for that. That's the good thing about it. It's like, yeah, it sucks, but like it helps your body beyond everything else. That like time of day, working out in the morning is the best. Yeah, it's so nice to not dread it when it comes up, right? Because by the time you're out of work, you're like, I'm fucking tired. I had a stressful day. I don't want to do this, and it's easy for you to back out. But like in the morning, you're just like, fuck it, do it, and it's good. Abag says my work is at Pacific, and I'm at Central Zone, so I get a 2-hour extra sleep time. Oh, fucking, that's nice.
This guy right here.
That's the good shit right there. Yeah, it'll be interesting seeing stuff. I'm excited for the future of Blue Rupees and where we can kind of fuck around with it. Now it's gonna be fun. We'll see. But
yeah,
it's kind of like I'm going into like hibernation mode to like chill. We'll do our thing. Take a couple breaks here or there because of trips that I'm gonna just like take and do my own thing for a little bit. And once I get back into the swing of things, especially when work comes around, it's weird because I'm saying that like when work comes around, we'll kind of be able to settle down in a bit. We'll be able to find probably a good routine of what we want to do, especially with games gone by.
Yeah.
At back, he prank call Gore. He wouldn't answer. Wouldn't answer. Dave, we've been going for over 3 hours, so.
Hell yeah.
I think we're good here. Let's stream something soon. I want to play Ready or Not sometime soon.
Yeah, I'm down for that, and my other buddies are, down for that at some point too. So we basically have a whole group down for that whenever.
We'll figure that out. And then I definitely want to do a graduation stream sometime. We'll take some shots. We'll not be conscious. God bless my coworkers. They were telling me for my grad party, like, what do you want? I was like, I don't want to be conscious. Like, I genuinely, I don't want to be conscious. And rolled up there. It's hard to get me drunk. Really hard to get me drunk. If I pace myself, I don't get drunk. I'll get maybe a buzz, maybe, but I won't get drunk. So if I want to get drunk, I have to like, we're going shots in at the beginning, and then we could do whatever we need to, and we'll get there. but like I need to like hit it going. So sure enough, got there. I was about maybe 45 seconds conscious of seeing one of my other coworkers roll up there, and I don't remember a goddamn thing after that.
Hell yeah.
I was like, how the fuck did I get home? I woke up in the morning. I don't get hangovers either, which is like my superpower, I guess. I just don't get hangovers. And I woke up in the morning and I'm like, oh fuck, what happened? Where am I? I had these, you can't see them. They kind of they've healed a bit. You can kind of see it. It looks small, but it was like I had this massive gash on both of my shins in the exact same spot. I'm like, what the fuck happened there? And apparently it took 5 people to get me home.
Jesus.
Yeah. And I asked my friend, I was like, did I do anything stupid? They're like, no, you were actually really good. And I was like, all right, cool. And I even asked my coworker, because she's dubbed my work wife now. Apparently that was a whole thing. Now that we were at there, my other coworker's like, you guys talk a lot. That's your work wife now. I'm like, okay. And then I was like, did I do anything stupid? She's like, no, you're very wholesome. You just kept telling the entire party how perfect me and my fiance were for each other. I'm like, all right, that was good. They said the only embarrassing thing was I sat my best friend down in a circle in the middle of all of us and told him why I'm so disappointed in him and his love life. I was like, yeah, that sounds about me too. And then as they were taking me home, I'm on the second floor of some apartments, and everyone was geared up. They're like, all right, we're gonna have to fucking get him up here. And apparently, I wasn't conscious of any of this. I don't remember a fucking goddamn thing of any of this. But we got to the stairs, and I was like, I can do this. And they're like, no, you can't. I was like, I can do this. No, you can't. Let's walk you up there. And I was like getting really like stubborn, like, I can do this. And then like my best friend knows me super well. He's like, guys, you guys don't know him like I do. If he says he's gonna do something, he's gonna do it, whether or not you guys say it or not. So just best let him do it, and he'll do it. And like, okay, so I kind of built a circle around me just in case. And sure enough, I just walked right up the stairs like I was the soberest fucking person ever all time. And then I lost consciousness again, I guess. But yeah, dude, it was disgusting. We bought the most obscene, gross, fruity, and like different flavored kind of alcohols, which didn't make me sick. I guess I threw it all up eventually, but like it didn't make me sick until the next morning. I've never in my entire life ever remembered the flavors of the alcohol and got myself sick instantaneously. We had vanilla cake whiskey, peanut butter whiskey, banana pudding, moonshine. We had, I think, regular ass tequila, and I forget what else. I think we had some like Mike's Hard too. So I had all these flavors that got me fucking sick. But it's how I know I'm not a non-alcoholic. I got through my day right. I was recovered totally fine the next morning. I go over to my family's house and my I forgot, I was like, oh fuck, I got some graduation gifts I didn't open. And I opened the one for my coworker, and they were asking me like, what do I want? And I remember I told them, I'm like, I'm a tequila guy. Open up, and this is fucking nice ass bottle of tequila, but oh my god. I took a look at that thing, I'm like, fuck you, I cannot right now, dude. I'm fucking dead. So at David's bachelor party, we're getting swifty.
I mean, like I said, the setup that the fiance and I have thought, we're not doing the traditional like bachelorette party. It's just getting all the very close friends together and getting the collective group all fucked up.
But here's the issue here's the issue genuinely that Planner Brain is having. We have to produce a fence outside, like a perimeter, because if we're in the middle of the woods and everyone's blitzed, someone's getting lost.
No, that's why you just everyone
tie a rope to the back
on each other.
Yeah,
exactly.
everyone tie a rope or put like a tracker on everyone, but someone is getting lost. Someone will not be within a mile's radius of that cabin home by the next morning.
Someone's gonna be that person's like, I don't know, the bathroom's in use, I'm just gonna go outside. And
yeah, I'll go outside, or you're gonna make a joke like, hey, you should go to the store. Oh yeah, I'll walk. It'll be really fucking funny if I walk to the store right now, right? Yeah. Search team out because where the fuck this person go? Invite everyone from Maine, so David's whole family essentially.
Most of my family doesn't live in Maine anymore.
Yeah, but aren't you guys like all incestuous?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Aren't you guys all like related to each other somehow, some way? You mentioned that like 90% of your
No,
people
I
are.
mentioned that I just have a massive family fucking tree, but
Isn't
I
that?
can't
Are they
think about
all
that.
in like Maine though?
So the long and short of it is that my great grandmother apparently had as during the W-2, and again this is a presumably thing, although it's kind of like half verified with when I took my ancestry test there, because I had like 600 pages of fucking cousins. Um, was that I had a great grandmother as well as a couple other family members that just had a side hustle of selling children during the Great War there, where they would just get knocked up, sell the children, etc. That's the vague understanding. Again, my family history, I don't fully know how much of it is true and how much is not, just because I have a whole fucking issue with people in the family telling the truth. And another
But you'd
half of
rather
the
be safe than sorry. You're not trying to bang your
exactly. That's why
sister.
I've never dated in my local pool of people, because there's a chance. Like I've grown up with stories of my uncles who've been like, "Oh yeah, I was interested in someone until I realized that apparently they were a cousin." It's like I don't ever want to have to worry about that, so I just never dated in my local area because I don't want that to be a thing of like, "Oh, by the way, that's like your third cousin from like this branch of the family." It's like I don't ever want to have to think about that as a
And Vegas
concern.
says, "Damn, all of a sudden you just thought David's family tree was a circle." It's true.
No, it's
It's a
far
fam. It's a
more.
family lake.
Yeah.
All right. On that incestuous note, we didn't even talk about Hitler or anything, so I kind of want to mention real quick before
I
we
mean,
head
that's
out.
why we brought up W-2 at least.
This is true. All right. So that was Blue Rupees 205, about 3.5 hours. Somehow we always do that, but I'm down with that. I'm not doing anything tomorrow. Fuck it.
I mean, we talked about a lot of good shit. We just had a conversation.
Yeah. That's what this podcast has been turning into, like the last handful. It's just like,
Yeah.
let's just talk shit for about 2 hours, then we'll talk about video games an hour.
This is the weird soft reboot. This is the experimental era of the podcast where it's just like, fuck it, we're having fun.
The life rupees. All right.
Well, because you know what? We're just filling the void that Comedy Button has left.
This is true. Abaggy says, "Hey, set us out with a dab, Big Dave." Jesus Christ. All right, we're out. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Hell yeah.